The ordinance holds its weight in the resolution.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Would everyone please stand for a short prayer and a salute to our flag? Almighty God, grant us the wisdom to make those decisions that are in the best interest of all our residents. May the Heavenly Father of us all bless those who have given the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation, and may He watch over and protect our servicemen and women now guarding the gates of freedom. Salute to the flag. Ken Kelly, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jessica, statement of publication, please.
Take notice that this regular agenda meeting of the Mayor and Borough Council being held on the 17th day of June 2024 has been posted and advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Balka.
Here.
Polisi.
Here.
Noha. Roberts.
Here.
Sinarski. Zabrowski.
Okay, Council President, approval of prior minutes.
I move the following minutes of the mayor and council be approved on roll call vote, subject to correction if necessary, the May 28th, 2024 regular agenda and executive sessions.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balka.
Yes.
Polisi.
Yes.
Noha. I'm sorry, he's absent. Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to ask Ken Kelly to come forward. He has a presentation. He is the chairman of our Veterans Alliance. Ken, if you would, please. Gentlemen, we welcome you. We thank you for your service and for the freedoms we enjoy today.
To Mayor O'Brien and members of the governing body, good evening. I speak to you tonight as a member of the Sayreville Veterans Alliance over a matter of great controversy and anxiety to our fellow veterans. The matter of concern is the display of the pride flag at Borough Hall. For the record, the Veterans Alliance has no animus towards the pride flag or those who support the pride movement. However, for the past 8 decades, the entire front of Borough Hall has been dedicated solely to the honorably discharged veterans of the United States military and the veterans of World War I, II, Korea, Vietnam, and the many conflicts of the Middle East. The American flag and the POW flag have long been prominently displayed as testimony to their service. We ask for nothing except that the American flag and POW flag be the only authorized colors to be flown at Borough Hall. I will read to you a copy of a U.S. Supreme Court decision, Shurtleff versus the City of Boston. The court advised that Boston was free to change its policies to make clear that it wished to speak for itself by raising flags. Tellingly, the court cited approvingly the flag policy adopted by San Jose, California. The court likened that the San Jose policy includes language stating that San Jose's flagpoles are not intended to serve as a forum for free expression by the public and limited to approval of flags flown. I have trouble seeing it, Mayor. Hang on. I'm having trouble. Flags flown to those constitute an expression of city official sentiments. The court's quasi-endorsement of San Jose's policy strongly suggests that local flag policies with these features would qualify as government speech, allowing the city to permit or reject flying of a flag consistent with its policies. Mr. Ware, we ask that you seriously consider changing the previous audience or the previous rules that were passed by the council, and a new policy be instituted by means of a ordinance. Okay, this is a subject that is sensitive to all. However, we feel that the veterans of our community have earned the right to have those flags in front of Borough Hall, which honor all those who served, those who died, and those who are wounded, and those now serving. So we appreciate your efforts in this matter. So thank you to all, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
Mayor, if I may, one or two guys wish to speak briefly. Okay, if that's all
Please
right.
call him up.
Okay. Stanley? Eddie Streck.
Thank you, Ken. My name is Ed Streck. I'm a lifelong resident of Sayreville, a proud veteran, and I come from a family of veterans who served in World War II, Korea, and I served in the United States Army.
Take your time, Ed.
Okay, I'm a little confused. I'm okay. In front of the Borough Hall right now, there's two monuments. It's decorated with the names of 1,950 veterans that served from Sayreville during wartime, World War I and World War II, 60 of which were killed in action. So what I would ask, when the council, the governing body, has a chance to vote tonight, take into consideration the names of all those veterans. Some of them may be your family friends or family members, but take their names into consideration and vote for our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Are there any other veterans that wanted to comment? Ken, are there any others?
No.
Okay. I'm sorry, Stanley. Well, it won't be a comment because it's introduction tonight. There will be an opportunity at the public portion to speak about any and all issues. Please come up, Stanley.
Couple of things. I'll just say a couple of things.
Stanley, I still need you to say who you are and where you
Back to
live.
that? Okay. El Rampardo. That was just a joke. Stanley Droll, 121 Bezette Street. I just want to make a comment on Ken Kelly's words. And particularly in my case, I was a professional soldier. I served for 24 years. I led soldiers from all diverse groups all over the world, basically. And the only thing we wore on our uniform was our name, U.S. Army, our unit patch, and an American flag. And I think the same thing should be done here with the Borough Hall as a government organization. Everybody's free to exercise their rights any place at their home, club they belong to. But the Borough Hall represents a government agency that represents all of us. And I think this nation needs to be united, not divided into tribal groups. You can never function, particularly like a military unit, split into pieces and fighting over every little thing. And I just came back from Europe a couple of weeks ago. I got a little problem drinking.
Go ahead, Stanley, take your time.
Let me have some water here real quick. I can't help it. Obviously, for me, it's a pretty emotional thing having served that long, but I just got back from Europe. I was at the Luxembourg Cemetery where the Battle of the Bulge occurred. And even as a professional soldier, I was really kind of emotional when I got there because we walked around, my wife and I, who's also a veteran, And one of the things that different from most cemeteries is if you go to St. Stan's or any cemetery, you'll see dates over 100 years, 50 years. When you go to a cemetery like the one in Omaha Beach or the one in Luxembourg, and you walk up and down and you'll see almost every grave is the same day or the same week. And in many cases, within the last 2 weeks. And when you stand there and look at that and think everybody died in that 1 or 2 week period, it's a totally different feeling. And I just think we should respect everybody and maintain the unity of the American flag. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Stanley. Would any other veteran like to speak or comment? Okay. Ken? All right. Again, we thank you, we honor you, we respect you, and thank you for the freedoms we enjoy today, gentlemen and ladies. Okay, with that, we'll move to Parks and Recreation Month proclamation. Stanley?
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight we'll have a proclamation, whereas the Parks and Recreation programs are an internal part of the communities throughout this country, including Saraville. And whereas our Parks and Recreation are vitally important to establishing and maintaining the quality of life in our communities, ensuring the health of all our citizens, and contributing to the economic and environmental well-being of the community and region. And whereas the Parks and Recreation programs build healthy, active communities and aid in our prevention of chronic disease, provide therapeutic recreation services to those who are mentally or physically disabled, also improve the mental and emotional health for all citizens. And whereas the Parks and Recreation programs increase the community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of business, and crime reduction. And whereas the Parks and Recreation are fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. And whereas the Parks and Recreation also improve the water quality, protect groundwater, prevent flooding, improve the quality of air we breathe, provide vegetative buffers to the development, and produce habitat for wildlife. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for our children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designed July as Park and Recreation Month, and whereas the Borough of Saraville recognizes and benefit derives from the Parks and Recreation resources. Also, the Park and Recreation Executive, he couldn't be able to be here tonight, but he wanted to thank the Mayor and Council for having this proclamation.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to accept the proclamation?
Is there a second? Second. Roll call?
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Valka.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Zanarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Hold on, Jess. So there are a number of new people here, maybe the first time they're at a council meeting. So the next section we're going to is called Old Business. When we do an ordinance, it takes 2 meetings. The first meeting is the introduction, where you introduce the ordinance. There are no comments on the introduction. At the next meeting is the second and final reading, and that's when it's open to the public for comment. That being said, these ordinances are open for comments. There will be a section at the end of the meeting called the public portion, where anyone can comment about any issue. We do have a time limit. It's a 5-minute time limit. And again, it's comments, so we'll proceed. For those that are new, I'll try to guide you through it. Jessica?
Public hearing on the following ordinances. Ordinance 23-24, Borough of Saraville, County of Middlesex, an ordinance regulating removal of garbage, refuse, and rubbish in the Borough of Saraville, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey.
Who's second on public safety?
Open it to the public first.
Oh,
We got to open.
I'm sorry. I'll open the public portion for questions or comments on ordinance 23-24. Are there any questions or comments? Well, mostly comments, rather. That's the old way. Any comments? Being no comments, I'll entertain a motion. Councilman Khaleesi.
I move I move the public hearing to be closed, the ordinance adopted on the second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Colisi,
Yes.
Balca,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Sinarski,
Yes.
Zabrowski. Public hearing on ordinance number 27-24, Borough of Saraville, County of Middlesex, ordinance regarding totally disabled veterans tax exemption.
I'll open the public portion for comments on ordinance 2724. Are there any comments? Being no comments, I'll entertain a motion.
Move the public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Balca,
Yes.
Polisi,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Sinarski,
Yes.
Zabrowski. Public hearing on ordinance number 28-24, Borough of Saraville, County of Middlesex, ordinance regarding Environmental Commission.
At this time, I'll open the public portion for comments on ordinance 2824. Are there any comments? Yes.
Okay, Mary Novak, One Scarlet Drive. I never brought this up before, but since it's being changed right now, state statute says this is a mayor's appointment. It is not required to have the consent of the council, and maybe it'd be a good idea to just take that out of there right now. It's always been a problem with our ordinance, so I figured, hey, we're changing it, let's do it right.
Right, I'm making one tonight.
Okay, yeah, so I think that's a fair comment.
What's your opinion?
I think the public commenter has a point in statute.
We can't hear the attorney.
I'm speaking to the mayor confidentially. I'll be glad to share in a moment.
While you're on the dais.
You know what? If there's gonna be, if,
Okay.
Okay, folks.
Public hearing.
He'll explain it.
what's your recommendation?
I think that's a fair comment. Whether the governing body wants to address that tonight or on another occasion, especially given the public concern, I think you have a valid point there.
Yeah, there's two that is just
We
the
want to deal
mayor's,
with
and
it
this
tonight,
is
or
one of
do
them.
we want to come back and deal with it?
From my perspective, let's just, we'll hold it off, we'll revise it and come back at the next meeting.
The
Okay.
other issue is that we're on second reading, so if we make a substantive change to the ordinance, it would prevent adoption. So I think.
I wished I saw that at the
Someone
last
caught it
mean.
at
I
a
would
prior
have.
meeting. I
Do you
think
have
we
that
would have been in a
appointment
better
for me to make
position to
tonight?
address
I
it.
didn't pick it up at the last meeting.
Just so the public's aware.
I know.
As the
Open
comment.
space.
As long as we're changing it, I figured we might as well align with state statute.
No, we can't. It's second reading.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it.
Mayor.
We'll vote on it and then we'll come back and do housekeeping at another meeting.
I think that's a great idea. And just so the public's aware, the comment is simply that your ordinance provides for the environmental commission appointments being by the mayor with the advice and consent of council. But state law that governs environmental commissions does provide that it's strictly a mayoral direct appointment. So we'll get that cleaned up. But in order to do it tonight, it would that would substantially change the ordinance such that final adoption could be had. So I think we could proceed with the current edit.
Okay. Are there any other comments? No other comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Thank you, Mary, for that feedback. We'll pass the motion. So I move that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
There's a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balca,
Yes.
Polisi,
Yes.
Narski,
Yes.
Zabrowski. Public hearing on ordinance number 29-24, Borough of Saraville, County of Middlesex, ordinance addressing parliamentary procedure during council meetings.
This time I'll entertain comments. Yes, Jim?
Thank you, Mayor. Jim Robinson from Parlin. First, I want to say I am so happy that the veterans are here because what we're going to talk about tonight is free speech, and they are the folks responsible for our right to free speech. I noticed you started the clock for me, not for the previous speaker. I want to comment on the provisions of the ordinance that I believe are wrong and actually conflict with Title 40 and actually contradict what the borough attorney said at the last meeting. The last portion of Section 1 says the time limits are for the public hearings, not for the public comment section on non-hearing items. So which is it? I'll remind everybody that the borough lost a very costly lawsuit because the judge called a public hearing the mayor conducted on an ordinance a sham. So I think we have to be very careful here. We don't get ourselves in trouble. So there is a distinction, and that should be addressed. The section indicates that a resident can speak for up to 3 minutes in total. That's new language, in total. Then it says, at the mayor's discretion, a member of the public may be called up for a second or subsequent period of time, and that no member of the public's total time exceed 5 minutes. So there's a 3 minute in total or 5 minute in total. It says both. So that should be clarified. But the time limits should be the same for everyone, not different for the friends or contributors that the mayor wants to call on because he has that discretion under this ordinance. Additional time shouldn't be at the mayor's discretion because you'd have to be dopey to not know what would happen. When the pilot was adopted, for instance, non-residents were called to speak first and more than once, while residents were limited to just once. But let's get to the real point of this ordinance, and that is to shut down the public. It's no secret that some of you don't want to hear from the public and you want to conceal things from the people. Let's not forget, this ordinance was proposed because people spoke out about the transparency team that was elected using the secret dark money fund that raised $82,000, and we still don't know who the donors are. We talked about the chairman of that dark money committee being appointed the mayor's chief of staff, and that's why we're cutting the time that people are allowed to speak. The mayor stopped Zoom participation in council meetings. You no longer answer questions at council meetings, and after residents objected to the pilot that would give Trammell Crow, a $65 billion warehouse developer, a tax break at our expense, the mayor at that meeting referred to residents as a-holes, as dopey people without lives. Then he called for an ordinance to further limit comment, and it was assigned to Councilman Balka, who courageously, I might add, refused to move it. Thank you, Councilman. The stated reason for shutting the people down was to shorten meetings. At the last meeting, you passed 5 ordinances, you introduced 3 new ordinances, you passed 34 resolutions, you hired 3 employees, you paid $7 million in bills, you heard from the 5 or 6 people from Town Lake who are having serious problems in their neighborhood, you went into executive session for 10 minutes to discuss tax appeals, you heard from 3 other residents, and it was all over by 8:15, an hour and 15 minutes. So time is not the reason you're cutting off resident comment. Most meetings are often less than an hour. There are many people here tonight, so tonight's meeting might be an exception. But the people want to be heard, and that will take some time. This meeting may last more than an hour, but your actions brought them out. So if you want to shorten meetings and have people speak less, don't shut down the public's right to speak. Stop doing stupid stuff. That will shorten the meeting. We'll all gladly stay home because some of us really do have lives. And just to remind you what the public has spoken about at previous meetings: pilots, drainage, traffic, streetlight outages, preserving open space. I spoke several times about veterans' preference in affordable housing, discounts on cable bills for seniors, helping the schools with locating a school bus terminal, preserving that lot in Oak Tree, saving the borough's first borough hall and firehouse, hiring an independent traffic consultant and religious land use attorney for the planning board application, and things like that. So I ask you to vote no on this ordinance. There may be some dopey people and some a-holes here tonight, and as the meeting progresses, we'll find out if they're on this side or that side of the railing. I hope you will vote no and preserve the people's right to speak, because what they have to say might not matter to you, but it matters to them. Folks here spoke. Folks, they're going to speak. It matters. And that's what you're elected to do, to be answerable to the public. Thank you very much.
Did I call you up? Did I call you up? Sit down, please.
I can speak on the
Sit
same
down.
issue.
I'll call you up. Are there other comments? Come on up. Who, Duffy?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Welcome, council. I just want to
If you'd
echo some
state
of-
your name and address, please.
No, sir. I'm going to continue. It's my time. I'm remaining anonymous.
Can we do that?
So just to echo some of the things, yeah, it's totally legal, Mr. Mayor. So just want to echo some of the things that the last speaker said. For you guys to decide to even introduce this ordinance, an ordinance to shave 5 minutes down to 3 minutes, when members of the public only have once a month to redress their grievances with government, are you kidding me? What a joke. And the fact that you have such disrespect, Mr. Mayor, for your residents, right? And use such horrible, horrible words. You think people have no lives? That's what you think they do. Keep looking down. Keep looking down. People have lives. These are hardworking people. These are residents trying to keep their head above water. And they deserve to be treated with respect, and they deserve to be heard. Is this even on? Is this microphone on? They deserve to be heard, Mr. Mayor. Your words are hurtful. They are not helpful. They are hurtful. And you should be ashamed for the way you speak. I say to myself, the people who speak with no filter in that kind of manner, especially in your position, I mean, little children do it and really old people do it. So maybe you just needed a nap that night, Mr. Mayor, right? I read your comments in the article that was put out by My Central Jersey, and you think that people have a platform to have a theatrical performance while people are watching on cable, 11 viewers? These are the statements you made. You should be disgusted at the things you said. And there is no reason why once a month people can't be heard for the 5 minutes. Not everybody even exhausts those 5 minutes, okay? And people have the right to be heard. And you should be doing your job. And what you're showing is a reflection of the fact that you don't give a shit about any of it. Oh, no, that's legal too. That's legal too. So, Mr. Mayor, choose your words carefully. The disrespect that you projected at your residents is garbage. You're a garbage mayor for the things you said. Shame on you.
Are there any other comments? Being no other comments? Oh, Ken. Ken.
Ken Olszewski, Sayreville. I was very surprised when I walked in tonight that there wasn't a sign, a-holes on the left, dopey people with no lives on the right. You've heard that from two speakers before. And Mayor, it is disgusting. As I've told you many times, I've told most people have heard this. I've been coming to council meetings since I was in high school. And I can assure you it's a long time ago. And if you look on these walls at the pictures of these mayors, I never heard anybody talk like that, Mayor. I never heard anyone talk like that. You have no respect for the people in this town. You're an embarrassment to the office of mayor. You're an embarrassment to the people of town, and you're an embarrassment to everybody who sits up there. But let me get into what I really wanted to say. Democracy dies in darkness. That's been said. And from the actions that's gone on since January 1st, it looks like the lights in here are getting very dim. And it looks like you're trying to stab democracy in the heart and put the lights out. And the people of Sayreville, I don't believe are going to stand for that. Let me tell you why I'm saying this. On January 1st, you took away the ability of people to participate in these meetings by Zoom. That's very interesting. It takes a lot of courage. You know who that hurts? That hurts people who can't get out to meetings. That generally hurts the old people. That hurts people who can't come to the microphone and speak. That was a very, very disgusting decision to take away their rights. And by the way, we have boards in this town that meet that way. The Rent Leveling Board meets virtually. You took that away for the council meetings. Number two, you had police officers come here and escort citizens to their seat after 5 minutes. Not citizens that were out of order, that did something unruly. You just had police officers come and escort them to their seats. I guess until there was such an outrage, because I heard it from all over town, how disgusting that was. Number three, then you came up with a scheme to refuse to answer questions from the public. Let me say it again, to refuse to answer questions from the public. This borough was established in 1920. It's over 100 years old. I never heard of any council that refuse to answer questions from the public. You say, Mayor, if this is to conduct borough business. This is borough business. Did you ever hear of democracy? That's what people fought and died for, democracy. And part of democracy is participative government. You should give people a medal that come here and want to participate in government. And of course, number 4, now you want to reduce the time that the public can speak to 3 minutes, which people have covered already. It's just taking away more rights and harassing people, and it's happened since January 1st. So yeah, the dopey people with no lives are going to continue to come. The a-holes are going to continue to come, and we're going to let you know how wrong these things are. And let me remind you, the 4 of you that ran last year, here, part of your platform said you're going to promote transparency that puts an end to corruption and self-dealing. Well, that's some way to promote transparency. Take away the people's rights to come here and speak, and take away the rights for the people to ask and for you to answer questions. That sounds like most people would say that was a lie. You people lied, and there's 4 of you. And by the way, that's a quorum. The mayor and the 3 councilmen here, that's a quorum. And in closing, I'd like to say, Mayor, it's time that you put the big boy pants on and stop acting like a child up here and trying to take away from whatever and whoever you have something against and fight for the people of Sayreville. Just do the right thing for the people of Sayreville, because Sayreville now, with your actions, and it's not you, it's the rest of these people, it's these council people who say nothing and they sing the same song, I. It's very disheartening to see what's happened. And I want you to think about getting the big boy pants on and start acting like a real mayor like we have in other towns. Thank you very much.
Bob?
Bob Duffy, 111 Merritt Avenue. You can go to sleep, Mayor. I want to talk to the council. I don't know if you understand a few things. Number one, if every Republican votes yes for you to be in those chairs, you lose. That's how many Democrats are in this town. Okay? And I think you know that. This ordinance, you could put down and show the people of Sayreville you're here for them. If it's 2 hours or 4 hours or 2 minutes, you're here for the people of Sayreville. That's who put you there, where you're sitting. Don't be a sheep. Be a council person and vote the right way. I think it would be political suicide if you let this go through. And I know a lot of people watching on that camera, and they see the names, faces, and I don't think you'll be here next year. So just do the right thing for the people of Sayreville. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Anyone else? Any other comments? Yes.
I want to talk to you.
Anthony, you have to face the governing body.
Oh, sure, sure. I don't mean to turn my back. The mayor has asked me to. My name is Anthony Sposato. You may not know me, Mayor O'Brien. It's the last time I'll probably speak to you directly. We have an 8-year-old at home, and oh, I'm sorry. I was actually going to speak about the flag, but I'd like to speak about the 3-minute ordinance. The importance of public comment in this arena is that folks can come and say things like, thank you for your service. Folks can come into this arena and say things like, I'm so sorry that you were put into a position where it has become an us versus them. That is not what America is. It's not what these men and women served for. It's not what men and women died for. When my son goes to the store, every single time he sees a veteran, the door is opened. There is a thank you for your service. Every time we interact with a teacher, there is a thank you for your service, because people in this country are not owed more than they have earned. I have said that for years at this podium, in this room, and on that side of the dais when I have been privileged enough to serve the people of this borough. I will tell you, this is not the right move to limit public comments. Public comments like this, with a ticker above you, allow people the space to say, I would never, ever, have never, would never advocate for the pride flag to fly higher than or on the same flagpole as the flag that represents the men and women who have served our nation. Never. I have never done it. I would never do it. And it has never been done in this borough, nor would it ever be done. So let us get the facts straight this evening. That has never been done. And I know that because I've been in that fight in this borough, in this room for years, and it was settled. So public comment and the time that is afforded to residents to thank people who have served is more important now than ever before. And my apologies are extended to the veterans who are in this room who feel at a polar opposite end of a conversation that should never have made them feel that way. I have never done that to one of the people who has served our nation and never would. So do not conflate the issues when we allow public comments. This is our opportunity to correct the record that does not seem important to some of the folks on this dais. So I will yield my remaining 2.5 minutes with the utmost gratitude for the men and women who have fought, died, and continue to serve with pride, honor, integrity, and dignity for families like mine, who for years could not serve in the military openly, but who were desperate to defend democracy. Thank you to the men and women who are here for showing up. I will hear you and defend your rights to be seen and heard and respected every single day I have the privilege of being an American in this borough.
Are there any other comments? Stanley?
Mayor, I just have a quick comment. Having been sitting up here as both a Republican and a Democrat councilman, I really do believe there has to be some tightening up, because I watched some of the council meetings the last 2 years, and it looked like a clown show, to be honest. You know, the people coming in and doing the theater, accusing the borough of killing people, the guy dressed like a wrestler, and I mean, it was a joke. Everybody laughed about it. But having said that, I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about how you should tighten it up. But the one thing I think we should do is keep the 5-minute limit, because sometimes technical things come up that I think have to be explained. I'm not saying that it should be like a free-for-all, but I think the 5-minute limit was pretty good. And the other thing is, I really wish you would bring back the Zoom, even if you have to control it somehow, because because of some health issues related to my service, I can't come to some of the meetings sometimes, and I'm not the only one. Some people really would like to. I recommend holding on a Saturday when I was a councilman, maybe once every couple of months. People work in the city, don't get back, that type of thing. Again, I understand the control. I really think you really should do something to control the circus, but I think the 5-minute limit is pretty good. Three gets tight on technical issues, and again, reconsider maybe Zoom somehow controlled, maybe pre-register. I'm not sure.
Thank you, Stanley. Are there any other comments? Are there any? Yes, Mary?
One Scarlet Drive. Did you get that? I'm not going to go over everything. What Stanley said, ditto. I honestly think we should try to stick with what we had before. I think that we could tighten up. We were getting a little bit totally out of control, as Donna and I will attest to. And of course, the girls that still had to go home and get their kids ready for school in the morning. So it did need tightening up. but I really would love to see the people on Zoom get to ask questions again. I'd like the people here to ask questions again. I'd like to stick with the 5-minute limit and stick with it. I mean, don't let people talk for 20 minutes. Make them sit down and have somebody else come up. I'm going to do something I've never done before, but this quote came to my attention and I said, it is so apropos. It is a quote from Thomas Paine. He's one of the founding fathers. Quote, "A body of men holding themselves accountable to nobody ought not be trusted by anybody. So please be accountable to the people in town and let them have their say." Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, Vin Conti for Yorkshire. Hi, folks, council, mayor. So, you know, when I was up on council, one of the things that I always did was I listened to the people, right? That was my thing. I listened to them, and then I make my decision after I hear from the people. Did that a couple of times on a few key issues that we had, because that's who voted for me, the people of this town. So if I didn't listen to the people, I wasn't doing my job. You know, my job isn't to go up there and just say, no, this is exactly what I want because it's my decision. No, I want to make the decision on behalf of the residents. And what I hear from the people, what I see from them is that you're creating such a divide amongst the community. And I know that's not what you want, but you've got to do a better job. You know, you're shortening. We used to laugh at the Board of Ed because it was 3 minutes. Oh my God, 3 minutes. You know, we have 5. And now we want to mirror theirs and go to 3, which, you know, people can get their point across. I think you guys I think you probably are doing a better job tightening up the meetings, right? We know we were there for hours and hours, but that was a different situation. I think that won't happen with you running the show up here. I don't think you have to even take it that far. You're taking away residents' opportunity. I mean, shoot, if you have 2 meetings a month, somebody can come up here for 10 minutes and speak to the council for 10 minutes over the course of a month. I mean, that's not a long time. So now you want to make it 6. And so you're creating a divide here where I hear it in the room, people talking amongst each other, you know, and saying not nice things to each other. And there was you know, those comments that are going around, the dopey people, no lives, the a-holes and stuff. What is this? I mean, it's just not, you got to look at yourself and you got to figure out, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing? Because something's going wrong. You got a lot of hatred. You got some support, but you got a lot of hatred as well. And the hatred is going amongst the residents and not really just, oh, the council. Because I like you, Mike. I like you, Donna, John, and I know you guys better than the others. So, you know, there's not that, but you're creating this divide amongst the people. Listen to it. I hear it. You know, people, what would you say? What do you got? That's not good. And then they take that out onto the streets. And then they have this situation where people start not liking each other around town. And that's not what you're looking to do. You guys should bring people together. Do things to bring them together. And when you've got something that you want to do, maybe, I don't know, find the happy medium. The meetings last time around with the old mayor, 4 hours, 5 hours, but they don't have to be 42 seconds. You know, it doesn't have to, okay, get in and out. Let's conduct some business here. Again, once or twice a month. And I know the meetings are much shorter. I know you guys are moving things along, which is good. Jim said it, last one was an hour and 15 minutes for a slew of things that you had to accomplish. That's good. That's good. And they're never going to get to that point because I know there's no more theatrics and you don't entertain that, which is fine. So you got it under control, so to speak. The people that speak out here, they've got a ton of experience within the borough. Have them list the positions that they've held around town. I mean, it's impressive. They know their stuff. So if they take the 5 minutes and they want to talk about it and enlighten people, they do speak on behalf of other people as well. You know, you cut off the Zoom, which I don't, you know, particularly care for. It's 2024. Everything's on Zoom. I mean, I have 12 Zoom calls a day. So to take that off and take the ability away from those people who can't get out or just really don't want to come in at night and whatever, I don't like. So you're creating a divide. And this one here is just one of the other things. Do you need to go from 5 to 3? You know, I mean, I don't know, it's just really, unless you've heard from all the people, and if you say, well, there's 11 people out there, or there's 4 people watching, well, then who's saying it's too long? Who's saying the 5 minutes is too long? Nobody, for that matter. Maybe you guys, and maybe you want to silence some of the people that you know talk a lot, but just listen to the people. And if they're not saying that, then why put yourself in harm's way with the fight and drop something down to 3 minutes from 5? Anyway, thanks.
Thank you, Vince. Are there any other comments? Yes.
Evelyn Smith, 124 Kendall Drive. I've been here for 60 years. One of the first things that I want to say is, and this will make you put your head down and not pay attention to me again, just like you've been doing for every other speaker that came up here. You have no respect for anyone. It's your job. You were elected to listen to the people. And you do have to answer our questions. The President of the United States has to answer questions. You sure as hell ain't better than him, okay? So there's no reason to, one of the first things that they did in Germany in the 30s was to shut the people up. And that's exactly what you people are doing. You are telling us we are not allowed to talk about anything, and God forbid we have a question, you're never going to get an answer because you don't want to have to, take a stand on anything. You don't want to have to cover your rear end, okay? Now, Kennedy, you and I have known each other for a long time, okay? I supported you when you first ran 20-some years ago, okay? We got along when I was doing Girl Scouts and everything else, okay? I don't know you. I do not know you. You are not that person anymore. I don't know if you had a stroke or if somebody came and, little orange person talked in your ear or something, but you are not the person that you were. And I do not like you now. You are hurting this town, absolutely hurting them. We have the right to speak. We have the right to ask questions and to get answers on those questions, okay? We are the ones who pay for all of this, okay? My taxes pay for what's going on here and for the Zoom that you took away and everything and everything else. It's wrong. Like I said, the first thing to dictatorship is to silence the people. And you've already pretty much alluded to wanting to be completely in control. You've said it, it's been in print, okay, that you don't want to have to answer to anyone. You want it to go be your way and your way only. And that's wrong. This is the United States of America. And you people fought for mine and their right to get up here and speak and to ask questions and to get answers. This is what freedom is. That's what you fought for. It's what you got rid of the Nazis for, okay? Because you wanted to have free speech in our country and you wanted to have responsible government. And right now we don't have responsible government. So think about it. You really, really should. Go home and look inside and say, why do people hate me all of a sudden? Especially me. Like I said, you know me. We were friends back then, and I don't know you anymore. You are not the man that I knew back then. I don't know what happened. I'm very sorry that you're not, because the Kennedy I knew was a good man, and I can't say that anymore. Thank you.
Are there any other comments? Yes, in the back? Yes.
My name is Pradeep Daria. I live on a one-page terrace in a town lake. I'm going to cut it very short. This 5-minute, 3-minute issue, I think that you guys are in a public service. And when you, right now you do not have a time, but when you want a vote, you hang out with us for 4 or 5 hours. You know that. You cannot deny that, right? And now you do not have a time. If you do not have a time, you do not have a patient to listen us, then I think that somebody else should be in this chair. That's all I want to say.
Are there any other comments? Are there any other comments? Being no other comments, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I just want to say something about this ordinance. I think we've mirrored it.
To close the public
Oh.
portion. Is
I'm sorry. I make a motion to close the public portion.
there a second? Roll call?
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balca.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Donna, your comments?
Yes, and, well, I do know that we needed to control what was going on in the meetings and have boundaries, and we mirrored after the school system. And I also know that I've talked to you directly about being able to adjust this moving forward. But I think this is a first step we are going to take, and I will be, move that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Okay, roll call? Oh, a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balca.
No.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
The only thing
Zabrowski.
Can I say anything?
Go ahead.
Wait, did we finish the roll call?
No.
Did we finish the roll call?
No.
Is it your turn to vote? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, Sammy.
When I signed up for this, I am still the same guy that I was campaigning last year. And I vote from my heart, I really do. And if I felt that there's something wrong, or if I felt there was improper times, the time could be adjusted for anybody. We've said that. If I lose my votes because of this, then I'm not meant to be here, but I'm still an honest straight shooter. That's all I can tell you.
All right, any other comments? All right, very quickly. Very quickly. I learned 20 odd years ago from really a former councilman named Jeff Pawlowski, who had a habit of saying, these are living documents, meaning that they're changeable. What we needed to do, or what I'm trying to do this term, is to bring Sayreville more into 2024. And by that, if you want to display you lack manners, go right ahead. When you wonder why I lose patience with people, it's really bad manners coming up here. I've sat here, this is my 21st year, but long story short, what I'm trying to do is Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, I have a full staff of people that are here to answer any and all questions in every imaginable department. And that's where I'm trying to drive the questions. What I'm trying to eliminate is I started coming to meetings around 1990, and at that time, this was kind of for entertainment purposes, and it was always a game of gotcha. And it was before cable TV, it was before the internet, And you'd get a big crowd here, and it was always about gotcha. We need to move forward. It can't be about gotcha. It's got to be about the borough. What I've seen since from 4 years ago till today is we had probably the largest tax increase in education in my time in the borough, and there wasn't any complaint. People wanted the improvement. Now, the Board of Education has a 3-minute period. I'm not going to answer people, but I don't have any intention of staying here as people did for the last 4 years to be entertained. I don't need to come here for entertainment. I'm here to run a small service business. There's several hundred people that work for the borough, and you can call them Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, and ask all the questions, and they'll get back to you. They'll either have the question when you call, or they will find the answer and call you back. That is what I'm driving for, is that we have a modern customer service, because the residents are essentially the customers, and the borough provides the service. The first service is that we want to make sure that our police, fire, and first aid have the proper equipment and are properly trained so that they can serve and protect. Then you go through the whole myriad of services. The job of the governing body is to try to provide these services at a reasonable cost. That's what we do up here. That's what these 2 meetings a month are about, trying to run a small service business that provides all the things that you get for your tax dollar. That being said, if anybody feels that anything being done up here is illegal, I urge them to go to the prosecutor, to go to the police department and file a complaint, file a charge, let them investigate. I welcome it. I don't have any problem. I've been doing this for $111. This is my 21st year for $111. 3 years prior to that, I did it for $100 a week as a councilman. I'm not here for the money. I happen to like and love our town, and I have tried to serve faithfully. Now, change is difficult, and there is a group of people that are not comfortable with change, and they want to keep this thing to be a bit of a circus, a bit of an entertainment venue, a bit of a platform where they can get up and they can play gotcha. And I'm not going to permit that. My whole thing, if I can't bring us into 2024, then what's the point of all this? Then we can just remain in the 80s, and a lot of us will be gone, and the new people that are coming in who are demanding great service, demands of service that I've never seen before in this borough. And they don't want to wait 30 or 40 or 50 years to get a new road. And they don't want roads to be political rewards for loyalty. They want something that makes sense. When I left office, it used to be you could look on the internet and you could see a list of roads, worst to best. So you kind of knew where you were going to go. We spent years doing 13 streets a year. We have 600 streets. We have some issues I'm trying to get a solution for. So between the roads are a big thing. And that's the purpose of the pilot, is to do these improvements with pilot money rather than raising everybody's tax. It's not a difficult thing. I've had long talks with Mayor McCormick in Woodbridge that's got an awful lot of pilots going, and that's exactly what he does with them. So that being said, if people may disagree with me, I'm used to it. I've been doing this almost a quarter of a century. One of the people that got up the last time that person was here, at the end of the meeting, they give me the Nazi salute. I have a family, I have children, I have grandchildren, and they tell me I'm rude, crude, ill-bred. I beg to differ with that. There are people here that justly deserve those words I used the last time. If anybody is that super sensitive, that woke, that I'm supposed to take abuse and I'm not supposed to give it back to you, you're mistaken. I'm 70 years old now, and I feel that I've done the right things for a long period of time, and I continue to be here for the right reasons. And what I'm seeing is a group of people that don't like what I'm doing because it's changed and they no longer have an entertainment stage to perform on. That being said, East Brunswick does 3 minutes. The city of Chicago does 3 minutes. The city of New York does 3 minutes. And it's for comments. Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 is for questions. And I urge you, and we're trying to make the website a little bit more intuitive so that when you do have a question, you get right to the person that can get you the answer. We're not really equipped up here to do all this customer service. That's why we want to listen to your comments and not get bogged down with a customer service where one question leads to another. Most people used to treat this as a courtroom where they thought they could do a cross-examination. I'm trying to stop that. It served no practical or productive purpose. So if I am a little bit short, in the way I deal with people, it's because I'm getting old. I am old. And and as I say to particularly people in their 40s and the 50s, I said, I'm the past and the present. I'm just trying to get this ready for when you are able, when your kids are out of college, so that when you take over, you're not dealing with a town that's destroyed. You're dealing with a town that's on firm financial footing, whose infrastructure is sound. I don't think you guys realize everything the town provides. Our water and sewer department, the pipes are aging. It's going to cost me it's going to cost us a fortune to repair that so that everybody has fresh water and they get the sewage carried away. I have to work on that. What I don't want to do is have my time wasted watching somebody playing gotcha with me. I find that so irritating. I'm not here to play gotcha with. So that being said, when you look at what we do up here, this is the least important thing of what we do because we're setting it up for professional customer service. We have a first-class professional workforce here that are only happy to help you answer your questions. If that's not enough, I mean, we can look at this because it is a living document, but because you want more time to do whatever it is that you want to do, I don't really have the time because I got to find ways to pay for our infrastructure and to get that done. So I'm sorry for those that I have disappointed. It wasn't my intent. I'm not sorry to those that are constantly rude and ill-bred and feel it's a town sport to call the mayor's name or to come here and be disruptive. But, you know, son, you're either going to keep quiet or you will be asked to leave. All right? Whatever your name is, wherever you live, it's of no importance to me because I'm here for the people of Sayreville. That being said, I ask for your indulgences in that we're trying to bring us into 2024. So that being said, the next order of business.
Following ordinances. Ordinance number 31-24. Borough of Sayreville, County of Middlesex, an ordinance establishing the flag display policy for the Borough of Sayreville, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey.
Move the
And
ordinance
with
be-
that, I'll open the,
No.
oh, that's first reading, I'm sorry.
I move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing be held on 7/15/2024.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Balca.
Yes.
Polisi.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski. Ordinance number 32-24, an ordinance to supplement Chapter 26 of the Municipal Code entitled Land Development to make modifications pursuant to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Model Stormwater Control Ordinance.
Councilman Kalasi.
I move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing to be held on July 15th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Kalisi.
Yes.
Balca.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski. Ordinance number 33-24, ordinance of the Borough of Sayreville, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, authorizing the execution of a financial agreement by and between the borough and 1970 New Jersey Route 35 Urban Renewal LLC pursuant to the long-term tax exemption law, NJSA 40A20-1 et sec.
Councilman Balka.
I'll
Go ahead.
introduce that, Mayor. I move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing be held on July 15th.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balka.
No.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to open we good?
Yeah.
This time, I'm going to open the public portion for any comments on the consent agenda. Are there any questions? Being no questions, I'll entertain a motion to close the public portion to approve the resolutions.
I move the consent agenda items be, I'm sorry. The next one. I move the public hearing be closed and the consent agenda resolutions be approved on roll call vote.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balka.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski. Need a motion to accept the correspondence as listed on the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Go ahead.
She did.
I did.
Okay. Roll call?
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balka.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski. Mayor and council reports.
Okay. Administration and Finance, Councilman Balka.
Thank you, Mayor. Just progress, Mayor.
Thank you. Planning and Zoning, Councilman Zabrowski.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to recognize a couple of groups that in our community that did some really wonderful things over the weekend. You'll know that our first responders took part in a charity softball game. I think the Board of Ed or some of our teachers were there as well, and also some of our young ball players. It was on behalf of Rooting for Riley. It was a really wonderful event. The second one was that it took place at the same time was a Ride with Friends. Our own Fred Block was involved in that, and that was really a big group of motorcyclists, aficionados, and people in their cars. And they actually went to each of the houses of those in our community that were afflicted by certain medical conditions as well to lift their spirits. So really wonderful things that took place on the weekend. Sarah met last Thursday. We had a general discussion on the master plan reexamination with an idea of looking at zoning and how the Sarah can kind of holistically look at things and make recommendations for that report. The planning board is meeting this Wednesday at 7:30. The meeting will be taking place at the Active Adult Center. That is a continuation of our mosque application. And then finally, the Board of Adjustment will be meeting next Wednesday, June 26th. Mayor, that's my report.
Thank you. Public Safety and Public Works, Councilman Khaleesi.
Okay, first with Public Safety is Progress, Mayor.
Okay.
And with Public Works, so the Roads Division is currently working on the stormwater drainage pipe over at the Club Pure. They're waiting on the pricing to remove that concrete blockage that's there. Eric Court, same thing with the stormwater drainage pipe. So that's actually creating sinkholes in that yard right there. So, and they're currently waiting on a price to fix that. The parks is Progress. They set the stages in Kennedy Park for the EID services and the school for the graduation, high school graduation. And they already started prepping Kennedy Park for the 4th of July event. And what else? And that's it. And we have some new signage coming into the parks that are needed. And other than that, Progress.
Thank you, Councilman. Recreation, Councilman Sinarski.
Thank you, Mayor. Recreation Department is in full swing. Our Independence Day celebration is going to be June 29th at Kennedy Park. There's going to be a lot of activities for everybody of all ages. You got face painting, inflatables, 15 food trucks, live music, live band's going to be there all day. It's going to be a good day at Kennedy Park. Parks and Recreation Month is in July, so July they have Cerebral Recreation will be hosting a free scavenger hunt. And there'll be a lot of information on the website for the Parks Department. other than that, progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Water and Sewer / Environmental Council President.
Thank you, Mayor. Attended the recent environmental meeting. I don't think we're going to meet again for the summer, but the garden is open and running well, and they'll have their subcommittee meetings. And I just want to say moving into the next century, I was honored to be at a seminar in Databricks, AI and BI, artificial intelligence, business intelligence, and the presentation was by the County of Los Angeles. They are struggling with being able to provide service and technology just like anyone else. So we're going to look forward to some of those new technologies to come our way after those who have the big, deep pockets shake it out first. So I'm looking forward to that. It was a very interesting seminar. So progress.
Thank you. With that, we'll go to general discussion on agenda items. Glenn?
Authorization to issue record licenses to the following: Steve's Towing and Transportation at 3340 Washington Road and Thrust Performance LLC, 928 Highway 9 in South Amboy.
Any opposition? Next item.
Authorization to renew CAD system maintenance contract with QED through NJ State Contract in an amount not to exceed $33,870.
Any disagreement? Next item.
Authorization to purchase one 2024 Chevy Silverado from Lucas Chevrolet through a non-fair and open process in an amount not to exceed $44,000.
Any objection?
Request received to hold a block party from the following: residents of Cleveland Ave on June 29th from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and residents of Ridge Ave and Milliken Road on July 27th from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to award a contract for the repair of an Eagle sweeper to W.E. Timmerman through Sourcewell Contract in an estimated amount of $42,992.05.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to appoint Marissa Barbieri from Clerk 1 part-time in the Municipal Court to Clerk 1 full-time in the Water and Sewer Department effective July 1st, 2024.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to appoint Alyssa Ainsley as custodian part-time in the Department of Public Works effective June 18th, 2024.
Next, Denise?
Authorization to amend the 2024 local municipal budget for the following: Clean Communities Grant in the amount of $103,968.37. And also Parlin Section 1 Redevelopment Community Benefit in the amount of $1 million. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Denise. Jay?
Thank you, Mayor. Just one item. The Riverton project is looking for a reduction of their performance bonds to reflect the work that's been completed to date. So we're looking for a resolution, and we'll have a report regarding the total amounts to be reduced at the next meeting. Thank you.
Jay, could you also give us an update on the inspection for the old Borough Hall next door, where you're at in it?
The environmental inspection has been completed. I'm waiting for the report. I should have that this week, and the structural inspection is in progress.
And when do you think it'll be? I won't hold you to it, but what's your best guesstimate on?
It should be the first week of July. We should have everything complete.
Okay, thank you. And Glenn, will we have enough time to get it on the ballot?
Yes, as long as we do it at the next meeting, we'll be set.
Okay, thank you. Borough Attorney's report?
No report, Mayor, but we will certainly look at the Environmental Commission ordinance that was raised earlier.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that, we're going to go to the public portion, and comments can be made on any and all issues. There is a 5-minute limit. Are there any comments to be made? Yes, sir, in the back.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. My name is Chris Canella. I'm not a resident here. I live up in Bergen County. I was invited to come speak today by my friend Anthony, whose husband is an educator. I am the chair of NJEA's Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity Committee, and I'm here to speak about the flag ordinance. And I do a lot of work in education around LGBTQ issues, advocating for our students, for our members. And some of the things that I've seen over the last 2 years as these issues have come to the forefront, kind of the culture wars and our LGBTQIA folks being on the forefront of that, is that our students are, kind of in the crosshairs. And they're not feeling as safe as they did a couple of years ago when all eyes weren't on them. So what I see is, bodies like this making decisions about, LGBTQIA folks, and which I happen to be one of them, and it's impacting our students. And there's data out there, and I'm not going to go through it because I only get, 5 minutes. And I just want to ask this council to please reconsider the motion. I think what you had in place, the recognition of LGBTQIA people, is important, particularly our young people. And, the students that I interact with, they see what's going on. In the town that I teach in, they just had a discussion, and they weren't going to put the flag up. They put the flag up. And I had several students say, thank you for bringing this issue up, because now we feel seen and now we feel heard. So another thing I want to do is, one, thank all of the veterans here for coming. And I want to share a bit of a story. You see, my uncles were veterans. They actually served in World War II. And I remember growing up, and I had my Uncle Frank and my Uncle Al. And they both passed away. They, advanced in age. They obviously served in World War II. And I always thought that my Uncle Frank and my Uncle Al, that they were brothers. Okay? And both of them served in World War II. They fought for this country. But it wasn't until almost 50 years when, my Uncle Al and Uncle Frank, they were living together. And, again, I thought they were related, but they weren't. In actuality, they were partners. And my family never talked about it. Okay? Maybe that could contribute why I didn't come out until I was 29 years old. Because we had my uncle and his partner who were together for 50 years, but we never recognized it. We never had that conversation in my family. They were in the closet. Okay? And I understand that some folks, have issues with who we are or what we do. Okay? But in the end, if folks like you continue to shove our LGBTQIA people back in the closet, because that's what you're doing. Look, the cat's out of the bag. A couple of years ago, your body said, yes, we're going to fly this flag. We're going to display it out there, okay? And we're going to show our community that we support our LGBTQ people. And I'll tell you, the ones who this impact the most are the kids. It's the kids. It's the students that I teach for 25 years. Okay? It's the students that go home. They're the ones that impact it, not me. I'm approaching 50 years old. I have a tough skin. I've been called many names, just like you, Mayor. we all get it. Okay? So I'm asking, please, don't make us go back in the closet. My uncle was there for 50 years. I did not acknowledge the fact that my uncle was in a relationship with another man until he had died. I'll tell you what, my father loved his brother. He loved his brother. And I did not come out until my father died. And I never told him that. And now, what these actions tell people, and they tell our youth, is that you need to go back in the closet because it's not fair. You need to go back in the closet because who you are and how you act makes some people uncomfortable. But my uncle wasn't uncomfortable when he went over and served under General Patton in Italy and fought for our people and our rights to have free expression and to exist. Please, please fly that flag and don't pass that ordinance.
Young man, if I may,
You may.
if you would. There's no comment, and as far as I know, the Borough of Saraville has no issues with what the pride flag stands for. What we're here about tonight is not that you can't fly it. The question is, where are we putting it up? That was the issue. Now, this has been a monument to our veterans for a very long time, as you know. One of the things that a lot of people miss when it comes to local government or state government is what you do for one person, you have to do for everyone. So this is the dilemma that we face. So the, what I did, I said, there must be a list of approved flags. And sure enough, if you go to Google, you can find about anything. So this is really what has been brought to me. The, oh geez. The amount of approved flags, wait a minute, on the, where did Zach put that? Okay. I think I left it in my office. Okay.
74 approved monthly.
There's 74 approved monthly flags. Now, from some of the conversations I've had with people, they've asked me, well, what about this flag? And I said, I don't think it's on the list. Well, what do I have to do to put it on the list? And I'm going, you know, this is, my instinct is saying, this is gonna be more divisive than unifying, because just, let's take the pride flag. In the month of June, which is the month for the pride, I have, June 14th is Flag Day, June 19th is Juneteenth. The third Sunday in June is Father's Day, which gets a flag. I'm sorry, there are 64 annual days where that get a flag. There are 20 special weeks that get a flag, and there, as Glenn said, there's 57 special months that get a flag. I don't have the resources to, I would have to hire somebody full or part-time to keep track of the flags. I appointed an ad hoc committee of residents, a cross-section of our residents. I said, this is something I need a policy on. So they met, they studied, they talked. This is a lot of work, because as I fly the pride flag, I have to fly practically every flag. My first instinct is, I really don't want to be in the flag business, because it's going to be cumbersome, and I'm going to only make people unhappy, because somebody else's flag went up. There were 6 flags in a month, and there's only 4 weeks. It's a recipe for unhappiness, because nobody's going to be happy, because there's so many, just on the presidential list. I'd have to hire somebody just to keep track of this. So it's not, has nothing to do with what pride represents, has nothing to do with anything. And if you know anything about Sayreville, we take our kids very seriously. We protect our kids. And we protect all our kids, If you understand what I'm saying.
I do.
Every single one of them. On 9/11, a parent or guardian escorted 6,000 children to their home to a parent or guardian. 6,000. So we really care a great deal about our kids, and we would do nothing to hurt our kids. But on the same token, I got this problem, and that's just presidential. You always have people that say, well, I may not be presidential, I may not be on a governor's list, but I want my flag flown. And then it's a question, well, what are we gonna do? So all this ordinance says is the front of Borough Hall is for the veterans. It's for the American flag and the veterans. That's all it's for, no one else. And that's the least we can do to the people that gave us everything we have. All right, and as long as I'm mayor, I will fight for that, because without them, I would have nothing. My family would have nothing, and Lord knows what shape our country would be in. Nothing with the pride, nothing with any of the other flags, but it's a lot of work if we go into the flag business. So we had a flagpole. And we said, all right, we don't have, we're not going to put it in the front out of respect and honor to our veterans, but we will keep the commitment and fly the flag. So this whole disagreement isn't about whether we're going to fly the pride flag. this whole disagreement is where. And I can't help you and fly it in front of the borough. I won't do that. And you need to know that. There are a lot of things I can accommodate people on. I can't accommodate you on this. There's nothing that you can say or do that's gonna make me betray the gentlemen and the ladies that are sitting here and those that lie under the flag. I'm just not gonna do it. And the vast majority of people in Sayreville are not gonna do it. Has nothing to do with pride or what it stands for. Has everything to do with what they gave. And so that's where we are. It's not that we're not flying your flag. The disagreement is on where. And I'm eliminating the front of Borough Hall.
If I can, since you
Go right
directed
ahead.
me. So, I've never heard of a Father's Day flag. However, I don't believe that any father has ever had to come out of the closet. Well, actually,
Has
maybe.
nothing- You're missing the point, son.
You know, you addressed me, so I think
Go right ahead.
I'd like to address. And the issue is, again, not that you're not flying the flag, not that you're doing it, it's that you undid something that was passed previously, and the optics of it and the viewing of it is that you don't value those people as much. And now maybe you want to come up with a great idea and a great place. You want to go out there and, you know, build a flagpole that's not hidden over there in the weeds. Okay, I think that's a great idea, but that's not what you're doing. Okay, and just, you know, I did live in Sayreville, by the way, for a year, my first year teaching. Pretty cool town. I actually like it. I stop here often. So it's the message, okay? It's the message. It's the way it's been done. And yeah, there are a lot of other flags, okay? Yeah, but a lot of those other flags are also attached to many other political meanings. The LGBTQ flag is not. And that is often what is misunderstood. So I appreciate the dialogue, and, you know, I do have to drive back up to Bergen County.
You're a visitor.
So, plus, I'd like to give some other people a chance to speak. Thank you, Mayor.
I get that. Any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name's Carol Langley, 27 Ash Terrace.
Carol, can you pull that microphone closer?
Is that better? Yeah. Okay. I only have a few things to say. You mentioned earlier about how we were disrespecting you with our comments, with our noises, with our sounds. It all started with you and your comments from the April 29th meeting. This young man's, whoop, he's not there. His comments were in reaction to that. He was insulted by you and your comments. That's one thing I wanted to say. Second thing, you want to bring us into 2024? Why did you get rid of Zoom? I'm done.
Bill?
Thank you, Mayor. Bill Henry, Orchard Street. Mayor, I want to start out saying that you have really no respect for the children in town here of Sayreville. You took away $150 million through that pilot program that you passed 2 months ago to the children of Sayreville. You're willing to give, and you said you're not going to give them bags of money, but you're willing to give bags of money to a multi-billion-dollar company that can really afford that the extra money that would have cost to build those warehouses down there. And now you're making a mockery of flying the pride flag where no one can see it. You have children of Sayreville questioning themselves about their sexuality and saying the mayor has no empathy or understanding of me or the gay community. You have a 7-person committee deciding where the flag should be displayed. The committee should have recommended not to put the flag up at all and embarrass the LGBT community where they have placed it. And I hope the next time you want to take $150 million from the children of Sayreville and you have a 7-person committee review the pilot as Council Member Zabrowski has recommended. That's all I wanted to say. And the flag could possibly be put out on one of these telephone poles out here. It doesn't have to be right in front of the,
Why don't you ask these gentlemen right here?
I'm saying it
Why don't
doesn't
you
have
ask
to be
these
in
gentlemen-
front
why don't you-
of the
Bill,
Borough Hall. I'm
Bill,
saying on a
ask
telephone
these gentlemen
pole.
right here.
I'm saying on a
Turn
telephone
around and
pole.
ask these gentlemen right here.
Would you want the flag to be put on a telephone? You don't want the flag at all in town? Is that what you're saying? Then where do you want to say? He's asking me to ask you, where do you want to put it then?
Not in front. Point of order.
Well, I'm saying, I say telephone pole.
Mayor. What have you created? Point of order. The mayor's created habit.
I'm saying a telephone pole. I'm not saying where.
The mayor's created habit.
Who's screaming back there?
Why would you make them do that to them?
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
Mayor, where you put the flag was a disgrace. I'm saying to find a better place to put it. Maybe even Kenny Park, whatever. But back there behind all the trees and whatnot
Bill,
is a terrible
it's what
spot
we
for that
had.
flag.
It's what we had.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you
It
said.
was a choice by default because it's what we had.
Okay,
So,
but I would suggest that you find a better spot for the flag. And I'm not suggesting that it be out in front of Borough Hall. Thank you.
okay. Are there any other comments? Yes. Anthony, I called the new person behind you.
I couldn't hear you because.
I called the new person behind you. I called someone behind you.
Who'd you call?
Hi, my name is Virendra Das, and I live in Town Lake West community. I'm also the HOA president for Town Lake West, and I'm here with some of my neighbors and the HOA board members to address some of the issues that we are facing for the last several years, but haven't really received any response from the town or any help in resolving some of the issues. Can I just see the hands up for people who are here from Town Lake? So these are the people who are directly impacted with what's going on around Town Lake with the new development of these Kaplan buildings around us, as well as the previous building that is already there for the last several years, the apartments. The biggest problem right now we have is in the entire community where we have close to 100 homes, there's not a single sign, speeding sign or transportation sign says slow down, speed limits, watch for children. Not a single sign from the township in the entire community. And I've sent letters to the transportation department last year, and people before me on the board also sent it, but no response. Nobody ever responded to us and never got any answers.
Right, so let's deal with it one at a time. Would you give this gentleman a way to contact
Yeah,
Glenn?
we've been dealing with the HOA on these
Well,
issues.
Go ahead,
Just not this
go ahead,
particular.
Glenn, if you would.
Yeah, just so you're aware, I don't remember everybody's name, but there was a pretty large part of your constituency here at a previous meeting. I remember Mr. Shaw leaps off the top of my head.
He's also here.
Is he here?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm talking as a,
No, I understand, but just to get you updated, the police department is addressing the Wisniewski Drive parking. They're doing the study on that. Takes a couple of weeks to get that done, and then there'll be improved signage and more than likely an enabling ordinance to address your parking. We're in the process of addressing the possibility of planting trees in the HOA's common space. I'm still waiting for a diagram from you guys indicating where that is on the HOA common property so we could start working on that project.
okay.
There are speed signs ordered that were requested by, again, I can't remember who in terms of the radar signs. So we are actually actively engaged in at least those three topics that are specific to your part of the community.
So we, as residents, we try to organize people to come up front and talk about their problems. So we have here a petition signed by 100 people who live in the community who have concerns and problems relating to parking and privacy issues and speeding issues. As I understand, one of the, I think it's ordinance in New York and in Sayreville says that no commercial parking on public streets. But if you go on Wisniewski after 5 o'clock, you have trucks, you have commercial vans, you have boats, you have cranes and bobcats parked outside. And people park in front of other people or the Town Lake community homes, and people living around that area, they have no option but to put the garbage trucks or put a basketball hoop or something to distract these people from parking in front of their homes. And they even make U-turns from the parking, from the driveways. So, it's going,
That's being dealt with.
no,
It just doesn't, you can't make a complaint today most of the time. Particularly, there are all kinds of laws that govern public streets. And you have to go through a process, which we're going through. I've driven, after the last meeting, I've driven through down Wisniewski Drive and to get a better idea. I know Stanley Sash spent an awful lot of time down there working on it, and as did our business administrator. So your community is absolutely not being ignored. It's just that the things we need to do are not overnight. We don't have that ability to address it overnight. We're addressing it, but we have to make sure that we're within the legal rights.
right, I understand, but again, it's not an overnight issue. It's been going on for the last 5, 6 years, I'm on the board for the last 4 years. People before me on the board, they tried to contact the city hall and try to get some, a resolution to this problem, but nothing has happened. So it's not an overnight problem.
Happening now.
Yeah, so hopefully in near future, we'll have some resolution according to you and people here. And so again, like I said, this is one of the biggest concerns we have in this community, and we, as
We take it
residents,
seriously, and we're addressing it. If you like, we'll try to get you a more timely update. Probably some of this happens because you were here, or people from your community were here 2 weeks ago, which started the process. And again, I went there, the BA went there, Councilman Sinarski spent an awful lot of time there.
right.
So we're active, we're involved in Wisniewski Drive and your community. It just takes time to effectuate change.
Okay, so I
All right.
accept that part, and we'll keep track of it, and hopefully we get some resolution in near future.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, can I have the floor for a minute?
yes, go ahead.
I was just there today. I was at 22 and 20 Wisniewski Drive. I banged on the doors. There was no answer. I walked around the back to where the ditch is. I wanted to see for myself how the water table is, how high the water is. I did notice that there was some debris in the ditch that's back there. I talked to Jay earlier, and it's supposed to be the HOA's responsibility to have that ditch maintained. So if you could tell me who the HOA guys, or you could tell him that the ditch has to be maintained as far as the water being blocked by trees and debris and garbage in that culvert. So that's one first start, and I am concerned about this. And the first we heard about this, what I heard about it was last month's meeting. After the meeting, even at night, I went to there and I spoke to all the residents there, and I spent time with them. But I couldn't go behind the fence at that time, but I was there actually today. So I'm not forgetting about this. We're going to try to do whatever we can do for you.
Okay, great, appreciate that. As long as you guys understand the community's issues and problems, that we face, privacy, obviously, everybody wants to have a privacy, and you buy these homes, I'm a 30-year resident of Sayreville. So you buy these homes, you want to have some privacy, you have some spot in front of your house, then you say, okay, maybe my guests will come, or I have second car, I can park there. Or you come home and then you see there's a truck parked in front of you and doesn't move for 2 days or whatever. This is not where I want to live, or this is not what I want to
Have
do.
those issues in other parts of
Yeah.
town.
So, thank you for your attention, and I hope that in the near future, we'll have some resolution to this.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Anthony?
I rise today to talk about courage and doing what's right. For 4 years. Can we restart? Is that all right? Thank you. I appreciate that. So we're talking about courage and doing what is right. The 4 years that I have spent fighting for the pride flag to fly in front of this building, underneath the American flag, but very much a part of the principles for which it stands, that scared me. And beyond words sometimes, but I showed up, I showed my heart, and I earned the bipartisan votes to fly the pride flag at the Borough Hall building. I learned what bravery was from people with real courage.
Honestly, sir, I really, really want to commend your bravery. I'm a pastor and I'm excited to vote yes. And I'm proudly to say yes. And on behalf of God, he represents everyone on the face of the planet. It's a choice matter. And I'm glad that you came up here. And I'm super excited once again on the record to vote yes. And I don't have any hesitation with saying this in front of my congregation. Thank you so much. And also greet your son Gabriel for me.
That's what a brave public servant sounds like. I stand today in the shadow of the late Councilwoman Eunice Jumfor. But a bipartisan council vote, courage itself, those don't seem to mean a lot in these parts. When Kennedy O'Brien removed the pride flag from the front of the building and shoved it into the back of a parking lot hidden behind trees. And now that people know about it, suddenly there's an ordinance 3 months after you put this bigoted policy into place. In secret, Councilwoman Jumfor thought that Republicans could defeat the notion that they were bigoted and close-minded. You seem to disagree. Does anyone on this dais care to know how many times I have had the word faggot or pussy screamed at me as a resident that you represent? Does anyone care to know? For standing outside holding a pride flag to restore the visibility that this mayor stole from the LGBTQ+ community in the cover of darkness. Do you want to know how many LGBTQ kids try to kill themselves because of the way the world treats them? Who among you is going to be the first person to reach for the stats? I have them here. No one? Donna? Do you want to know? Mayor?
Anthony, where
Okay.
are you bringing this to?
LGBTQ+ kids are 4 times more likely to attempt suicide. And in the 5 minutes we get to speak, soon to be 3, brave mayor, more than 6 young LGBTQ+ young people will have tried to end their lives. To the young people who might hear this, listen, you are perfect just the way you are. And you are surrounded by people in this borough who will fight for you, and you can count me and those behind me among those people. Do not let the silence of our mayor, who has not once wished the residents of this borough a happy Pride Month, make you think that you are alone, because you are not. No mayorship lasts forever. No council seat lasts forever. But the way you treat people leaves its mark. Keep teaching the grown-ups what it means to be brave. I was prepared to come and ask for a motion tonight to return the pride flag to the front of Borough Hall, but folks like Dan and Donna are going to tell you, well, if we allow the pride flag to fly at Borough Hall, what's next? That is the same fear-mongering that Republicans use to scare folks away from marriage equality. It is trite, it is transparent, and it does not hold water. The pride flag flew here for the last 4 years without an issue, without 0 applications, Mayor, for another flag to fly. No applications, because more rights for all does not mean less rights for some. Kennedy O'Brien convened a committee behind the public's back, strategically waited to see if anyone would notice, and now created an ordinance to back up the bullshit. This council and its mayor have reverse-engineered bigotry. You've done it on Pride Month, and until our Sayreville community stands together against you, you're going to keep on doing it. If the mayor is looking for dopey assholes, he's looking on the wrong side of this dais, because the Sayreville that I know and that I fight to represent is full of people who are caring and compassionate, often in different ways, often in ways that we do not agree about, but who care nonetheless. We're a borough filled with love. That is who we are. So gone are the days where you as a council and a mayor are given the luxury of having your secrets kept. Sayreville will know who you are each and every vote. A cuckolded council paraded around by a mayor who knows he has your yes before he even has to ask the question. Arrogantly thinking that Sayreville will buy the transparency that is being peddled like a second-rate snake oil salesman. Shame on all of you who champion service in the face of a greater good, but run when the call actually comes, and who pit veterans against parts of this community. It is loathsome. Especially you, Council President Roberts, because you have been part of this. And the seat that you occupy was not awarded to you, but it was earned by women who came before you and earned their place on this dais in the women's suffrage movement, that you celebrated a special right for a special interest that was well-deserved and well-earned. You disgrace the memory of those women by standing against this community who need an ally with empathy and courage. You don't have either. You got what you wanted. The pride flag is no longer on the building. We've been at this for years, and you've got this part of it. But remember that the arc of history bends towards justice. My friends, the conversation that we are starting tonight is beginning. It is the first page of a brand new book, one that many folks are going to read. My kid is not going to grow up thinking that this is as good as it gets. It's not. So I will see you again tomorrow night in front of Borough Hall, holding the pride flag. And every night of June, each June, right out front where we belong. Matthews? Mayor?
Yes, yes.
Mayor, Council, my name is Vinny Gambardella. I live on School Drive. I purchased my family home in 1998 because its appeal of being on a dead-end street, as it always was. Before I bought my house, drove nighttime, daytime, weekends. The gates were always closed, always locked. I had 2 young kids and 1 on the way, and it was a great place for my, at the time, 5-year-old to play around, and everything was fine. On the corner of School Drive and Ernstine Road, the dead-end street still remains, the sign. It still remains. It's 60 years old, all right? It's not a new thing. It's an old thing. It's the way it was. However, School Drive is now open 24 hours, 7 days a week. We deal with school traffic, buses, cars, rush hour traffic trying to beat the light at Ernstine and Washington coming both ways. We have kids in our 20s, me and one of our neighbors that play basketball outside, still in their 20s, looking outside because cars are shooting, trying to beat the light. It is so dangerous. Once again, this is an ordinance dead-end street, okay? The gates is what created the dead-end street. Being broken, there's no more dead-end street, all right? It's a simple project. We've been down this road a couple times, but it's just a dead issue, all right? Along with my neighbors, I have 4 other neighbors. We have 6 houses on the block. 4 of them are here right now. We attended several meetings addressing the dangerous condition with both the Board of Education meetings and the Township Council, and it's affecting the residents of School Drive's quality of life, all right? It changed our lives. It changed our kids' lives. It just changed the way we all lived. This is not what we signed up for. It's not what we bought, okay? It's a direct violation of the New Jersey Constitution, Article 1, Rights and Privileges, Paragraph 1. It's the first thing listed in the New Jersey State Constitution of peace, and I don't want to read it, but if you guys want to follow it, everybody has the right for freedom, safety, and everything else. We also refer back to Sayreville Ordinance number 418-95, and also its site plan that we found in the basement of police headquarters. All right, we had to blow it up and find out where those gates are, and those gates clearly state that those gates are to remain. Okay, clearly states the ordinance still exists. In addition, ordinance number 26-971C, Sayreville Ordinance, reads, in general, local residential streets shall be designated to discourage through traffic that the proposed large traffic generators shall not be permitted through local residential streets. All right, 2 ordinances they're in violation of. We find ourselves now in front of you guys and respectfully ask for a final solution to our safety concern. And we also asked, we contacted the county because we can never get out of our street both ways. I mean, anybody goes down on Ernstine Road, it's backed up both ways. So we contacted the county to do that block the box, and they respectfully said, we understand and we know the area, but it has to be initiated by you guys to do a study or whatever. So we would appreciate if you guys can do a study or contact the county.
I remember when those gates would close, if not all the time, at least part of the time. Ken, you went to high school there, right? Kelly?
Yes.
Right? When were those gates put in?
Back in the sixties, Mayor, traffic wasn't an issue if it's today.
Right.
The gates were open generally.
Okay. I remember they were open part of the day, like when school was coming in and going out.
Right.
But when they opened full time, I'm trying to remember and it's not coming to me. But we'll, do you have another card? Okay. What did the Board of Ed tell you? That it's gotta come
They said
here?
it's the-
They kick the
right.
can over here?
Right.
Okay. Jay, you have any light to shed on this?
I don't, Mayor. I know that there were discussions in the past. I think the police department was involved, so maybe we want to talk to traffic safety to get their feedback.
Okay, all right. Well, the best I can tell you at this moment is we'll start investigating why those gates were left open permanently. I do remember.
One's broken and one's,
They're destroyed?
right.
Well, we combine,
Yeah.
let's find out why, and then we'll go from there. If you would send your contact information to Glenn,
Yeah, we spoke last year. We'll reconnect.
okay, and we'll
It's just
start
too
looking
many-
into
It's
this.
dangerous. It really
Yes,
is.
I live across the street in Woodside.
Right. Especially, it's a marked dead-end street.
Yep.
It's not marked dead-end street, except for school hours. It's a marked dead-end street.
It's a dangerous, because I see
dangerous
the kids
condition.
from Woodside crossing through traffic to get to school in the morning.
Right.
It's not a good situation.
So when you go home tonight, you can see our
I
dead-end
know
street sign.
exactly where you
Right.
are.
So, with respect, I appreciate your time, appreciate all you guys. My three other neighbors, if they can just be heard, quick,
Okay,
following us.
sure.
Thank you, guys.
Wait a minute, behind you. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Raj and I live in Town Lake West. I'm also one of the board member. I'm not going to waste too much time because my colleague already explained the issue. Only we don't know that, when we call so many times the police when they park the car on the driveway or they block somebody.
Do they block your driveways, Raj?
Not my, I live a little further up, so, but the one by Wisniewski, they were blocking the driveways and the way they park, when you want to get the exit from the road, you cannot see and it's so dangerous, When I leave for the work, my family is worried that, am I coming back home safe or not? I really appreciate, guys, that you guys already addressed the issue and you are taking care of it, but just give the priority so, the Town Lake people are feeling safe, to go back home or to go somewhere else. That's all I want to say. And just last one more thing, when we call the cops, is there any way they can issue the ticket, at least for the commercial vehicle? They're not supposed to park there.
I believe they are issued tickets.
Not yet. Well, we're working on getting it.
Well, I'm sorry, Raj. First, there has to be an ordinance against parking. We went through this up on Gondek Drive years and years ago, where commercial vehicles were parking. It was a process, but we got it done. We'll get it done in your neighborhood.
Yeah, the problem is what happened, like Camelot, they have own parking, but he's charging money.
That's what I
People
heard.
trying to save the money and they're parking on the street.
Yep.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thanks, Raj. Yes.
Thank you. Again, no name. And before I make my comment, I just want to mention for anybody who's in the room or anybody who's watching online, anonymous communications are heavily protected with government. You don't have to exchange your Fourth Amendment to exercise your first. You have the right to remain secure, and you do not have to give your personal sensitive information to participate in a public meeting. I think with the issue in terms of the flag, when you have something and then you take it away, it's going to upset people, which I then want to talk about the fact that the Zoom meetings were taken away. I thank all these veterans who are in the room tonight. They are the reason why I'm able to remain anonymous. And one of the things that what we did when we took away the Zoom meetings was we took away access for disabled veterans to take part in the meetings. And I think that's an important thing, and that's why I'm speaking a second time on this issue. I'm not going to beat a dead horse with a bat here on this one. But we have approximately 47,000 residents in Sayreville. Even if it's one or two disabled veterans who can't come out to the meeting and participate for these freedoms that they fought for, we absolutely have an issue. And if we're trying to curb theatrical presentations or whatever we want to, we're not going to go into this again. But what we need to do is we need to recognize these veterans who have fought and the rights of the disabled. And when you take away access to disability access, there's a legal process. And I hope you guys did it all properly. Grievance periods, question and answer. I don't even know. I don't know if there's an ADA coordinator. I hope it was done legally, because otherwise we've overlooked that issue, and we've overlooked it anyway, obviously. We all deserve better. We have a right to be heard, and we want to be able to be heard properly. Thank you.
The gentleman from, wait a minute, the gentleman from School Drive, did you have 3 people with you?
Yes.
Okay, why don't those 3 people come up? And this way we can hear you, and then mission accomplished.
Hi, my name is Sharon. I live on One School Drive. I've lived there the past 33 years. When I first moved into that home, that dead end sign was there. It doesn't specify times, nothing like that, just dead end. The gates were up originally, the yellow gates. I don't know when they were removed, but now we have 24/7 traffic. I cannot get out of my driveway in the morning. These people that are flying down our streets, even on the weekend when my granddaughter's over, those gates are open. People are taking shortcuts through there. My granddaughter is in the front of the house playing on the lawn. No, they don't pay attention. They're flying down our streets. They make 3 lanes. It's just our street is very dangerous. I can't see why nothing ever happened yet, because it's dangerous on our street.
Thank God.
No, I'm serious. You have to
No,
be there
thank God,
to,
nothing.
you have to be there to.
Thank God there
to
hasn't been
see
an
it.
accident. I
So,
agree with you 100%. That is dangerous now.
it is. But I
All
thank
right,
you.
we're gonna start dealing with it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, dear. Wait a minute, Joel. Let me take care of these people from School Drive. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name's Victoria Benedetto. I live on School Drive. My parents were original owners in
Can you
1965.
bring that a little closer, Victoria?
Okay. In 1965, I reside in the house. I feel my quality of life has changed drastically on the street. Besides school traffic, we have events at night. And just the other night, last week, there was an event and it ended maybe about 9:30, and there were like 2 lanes. They make just 2 lanes. And I was waiting for somebody to come home, and I'm like, how is he going to turn up the street? You can't even turn up the street. So I would really like for you to perhaps put a guardrail there on what is deemed a dead-end street. And I even have a picture.
Well, Jessica, you would pass that up to Glenn. Well, let me show the council.
A picture showing the gates when I was a young girl. On the weekends, they were always closed. I just really need a solution.
The solution begins tonight.
Good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You want us to, can we keep this?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Joel? Wait a minute, was there one, Joel, timing's everything. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Patrick DePascal. I come from 3 School Drive.
Del Pascal, you get a 2 for 1.
Yeah. So we've been on School Drive now for 19 years. And when we bought the house, it was nice because we saw the dead end street sign. We figured this is what we want, we don't want this crazy traffic,
At the
but
time, we had a 5
and a 2-year-old.
Is
Yeah.
it closed 24 hours a day when you first
No,
moved in?
no,
It
not when we
wasn't closed,
first.
but it was.
The gate was there. Gate was there, but they never utilized the gate.
Yeah.
But all I got to say, and I'll make this short and sweet, this town has been very, very lucky that nothing has happened, Mayor. Let's not make something happen. Our grandchild is out there. I see that. Something's going to happen one day, and we're all going to regret it because we're standing here saying, we should have, we should have, we should have.
Pray it doesn't.
So
We find a
we're
solution.
playing with God's hands now.
There's just a lot of speeding.
So
I mean,
you
and
put up, we
cannot
put
get out of
that,
your driveway.
you put that sign up in the electronic, like you can't go over, what was it? 15?
25.
25. And nobody, oh my God.
They go over.
So speeding and,
Oh, once you enter into the school
Yeah.
parking lot, right, right.
and my mornings getting out of work, going to work every morning is an adventure. So.
You're making a left, it's impossible.
Yeah, so, all right, so let's just make sure we do something about that. It's
All right,
an accident
thank you.
waiting to happen.
Joel,
Thank you so much for your time.
thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Joel Bloom, 15 Cheyenne Drive. I'm also the post commander of the American Legion post here in Sayville and a member of the Vigil Veterans Alliance. First, I'd rather not someone who has no familiarity with veterans make comments about veterans. Veterans help veterans. The American Legion organization and the VFW, our main goal is to help a veteran, whether they're a member of our organization or not a member of our organization.
Is that on, Joel?
Green light's on.
Oh, if everybody could just, please stop talking because it's interfering, picking up, his comments.
We help veterans. I don't want to hear that they can't come to a meeting because we don't have Zoom. If a member calls us, if a veteran calls us, we go out there and we help them. We have something called buddy checks. We check on the veterans, we help them when we can.
Yes.
My second point is, the American flag is a symbol of our country. The only flag that's allowed to fly on the same pole with the American flag is our POW and MIA flag. And the purpose behind that is every September, the third Friday in September, is POW MIA Remembrance Day, where we have a celebration and to honor those. As of last year, and I get these statistics from the Department of Veterans Affairs, we still had over 350,000 service members missing and unaccounted for in action. That POW MIA flag will always be on the same pole as the symbol of our country, the American flag, and no other flag will ever fly on that pole other than the POW MIA flag. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council persons, and everybody else. I'm just going to refresh the problems we have on Wisniewski Road. My name is Harshad Vaidya, and I live on 29 Wisniewski Road, right next to the apartment complex starts or ends, the entrance of that. I have a person who parks there almost every day and night. My half of my driveway, almost my mailbox is all blocked. Because of that car is always there, a lot of time I even do not get my mail because the mailman's truck cannot go in there and he just bypasses me.
Is that a commuter that parks there and they walk down to get the bus?
No, the guy, I spoke to him, he says, I park here because you have a camera in front of your house, so my car is safe. Now, yes. And he says, so I want to know if anybody does anything to my car, I will come to you to get you camera.
Could you talk to him and make a compromise? No, seriously.
No, I asked him, I said, why you park? He said, I parked all over other places, but there is no safety. And they keep running me out of there by putting the signs on my car.
Where does he live?
He lives in the apartment building. He says, I have 3 cars, 2 I have space for inside, but this one I don't have any space for. And this car is like from 1960s somewhere. It's a huge car. And not only that, Because of that, I have a feeling that no fire truck can go there if there is somebody else park on the other side. No
What's your-
emergency
what's
truck
your
can go there.
address?
29 Wisniewski. I have a guys here, 27, 29, 31, 25. All of us are here and we are all having the same
How long
problem.
does he leave the car there?
He lives there for days and weeks and months.
Oh, okay, okay,
He's never moved.
okay.
So
Okay.
I moved from Nutley in last 5 years here.
Okay.
We had no overnight parking over there, which was a very good law. That, at least if something happens at nighttime, emergency can come to you and help you out. So please do something about this. Make a sign that no overnight parking or no long-term parking there. Something has to be done in order to get these people out of there. Because I don't want to deal with him directly one-on-one. Because if I say something or do something, he is going to know that I have done it. So that's what I don't want to be bothered
We'll
with
take
that.
care of it.
Yes, thank you. Thanks
you.
for listening.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Harsh Patel. I'm also from Town Lake West. I don't want to repeat these issues again, but the concerns that we talked about today, one is for parking, one is for speeding, or the privacy issue at the Wisconsin. These issues are not just for the Wisconsin Road, also for the Clark, Page Terrace, and Whitehead, because I live in Whitehead Avenue, and I see that people coming from Wilson School, driving down south, and that's uphill. So people are driving like more than 40 miles per hour. I did make a request to put a temporary sign there, and I think 2 years ago they put like a temp sign there, a speeding sign, and people pay people from the other side of the community, they play with the sign. They put 25 to 52, they change the sign. So we want a permanent solution there. And also on behalf of the board, because I'm also secretary of HOA board, I would like to comment that we did the petition on what needs to be done. And we want to make sure that you and the council persons, they make sure that this issues are resolved. So thank you so much.
Thank you. There's a gentleman waving his hand with the baseball cap.
Hi, Michael Smith, 16 Cedar Terrace. I'm actually here, it's actually the first time I've ever been here. I've never participated in this other than voting, and most likely I've voted all of you guys in at one point. I've come here and prayed with you, met many great veterans under the whole process of this flag, the 31-24, which you have decided that we will not be flying a pride flag in front of the building. But to be fair, you've actually decided that we will be flying only 3 flags in front of the building, which, by my surprise, I walked in today and proceeded to see the KIA flag flying in front of the building, which I respect. And realizing that this new rule will make it so that KIA flag will not be flying in front of this building. I feel extremely horrible about that. See, the American flag is flying on one pole. The prisoners of war and missing in action flag is flying on the other. Now, I would never say that the pride flag has to fly at the same height or on the same pole as the American flag. That American flag, as your code states, has certain rules that have to be followed. Lights on it, certain tensions, the way it is raised, the way it is lowered. The fact that during this time period, if the weather was bad and that was not an all-weather flag, you would have to have a gentleman go out there and take it down in ceremony and make sure it does not touch the ground. There are processes to that flag, and I respect them greatly. But you have 2 flagpoles out in front of your building. And in that situation, I would not be against the pride flag being the lowest on the pole on the other side, because the American flag must fly on the right side of the building. But the other flag, the POW flag, can fly underneath it. And in my opinion, that respects that POW flag more. It is right under the symbol of this nation. When on the other hand, the pride flag, which is, as to my surprise, I didn't even realize it had been moved, out in a field. Now, I would not be against, again, having flags of everybody's form if somebody came to you and said, hey, I would like a police flag up there. I would like a fire. You have in the back of your building, one of your locations, has the first responders flag hung right underneath the American flag, and that is completely understandable. I'm not asking to remove the respect of any of the other flags. I'm actually asking to elevate their respect, to put the pride flag at the lowest, but displayed not on the same side as the flag, because again, the flag must be flown on the right side of the building, but on the other side. I also, in my great situation of seeing this whole situation, heard you guys all here, multiple people come up and talk to you about how losing these 5 minutes, which I'd be over already, would be horrible. I heard that whole statement. And when that finished, I was told about a living document, right? And this living document right now, it's evolving. We want to go into 2024, correct? I mean, hell, everybody could see me right now, at least whatever number of people viewing, and yet we're going backwards. Because 4 years ago, we put this in. So you're telling me that 2020 was more advanced than 2024 at this point? Because for 4 years it sat up there, no problem, and no one really cared. No one tried to take it down until now. Suddenly it became a point of contention. And I don't understand exactly why that situation would be. I would think that there would be a compromise being able to be made, not a doctrine being put in place to force the inability to do anything but your 3 flags you've chosen, which, I mind you, you do not have the state flag flying in front of the building, which is one of the 3 you have mentioned. Yet, you have the KIA flag. So, the only reason that I bring this up is because, to me, I have friends, veterans that died, people who have died that were gay in war in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and I think that would respect them to have that flag up too, but not over the American or the POW flag. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. James?
Thank you, Mayor. Jim Robinson from Parlin. I couldn't hear everything as you know. Donna, I know you made the motion to limit on the ordinance to limit comment. Councilman Sinarski, did you second that? You did? Okay, thank you for that. I just want to comment that more than half the people who spoke today, including the previous gentleman and the folks from Town Lake and the folks from School Drive, spoke more than 3 minutes. So more than half the folks who spoke today, their comments would have been cut off under that new ordinance. And I spoke when the Pride resolution was approved years ago, and others have spoken about that more eloquently than I can and what it means. But I do want to say just 2 things, or a couple things. I too come from a military family. Very proud of that. Very proud of my relatives who served. I'm hearing some compare the Pride flag to the American flag. I think Anthony addressed that brilliantly. And I think it ought to be made known, as this previous gentleman said, the Pride flag would never fly on the same flag as the American flag. It never did here. It never should anywhere. There is no comparison between the 2 flags, even though some have tried to create some division and confusion. That and what happened here earlier, Mayor, that you caused was just disheartening. You know, there is no, every other flag flown with the American flag, which the U.S. Code allows, by the way, must be smaller, lower, and subordinate to the American flag. So no proponent was making that comparison. I say this, though, that they both represent liberty, they both represent freedom and equality. So they don't stand for different things. And the two monuments that are out here, the World War I and the World War II monuments, they have only ever flown Old Glory, and they only ever should. Those are the monuments to the veterans in front of the building. Now, I see that there is an ordinance proposed that will allow flying of only the U.S., New Jersey, and MIA flag. Your sudden interest in flag etiquette is admirable, but I would note this. We used to fly the New Jersey flag out front. That isn't done anymore, and I don't know why. In accord with the U.S. Code, the MIA flag is usually flown below Old Glory, but we don't do that here either. Your new ordinance would not allow the borough flag to be flown in front of the Borough Hall, which it used to. And the draft ordinance being introduced tonight would prohibit the red KIA, Killed in Action, flag that currently flies outside from being flown. Is that your intent? I hope that's not the intent, but that's what this ordinance would do. Did you want to prohibit the KIA flag from being flown? I hope not. Or were you just in such a hurry to introduce this flag ordinance tonight that you didn't think of that? And by the way, the new flagpole, and I say new in quotes because that flagpole has been there since I worked in the Borough Hall 40 years ago. The new flagpole where the mayor decided to fly the pride flag is an old flagpole. The U.S. flag used to fly there. The U.S. flag used to fly on that flagpole at the entrance to the bridle path. That's why there's a flagpole there. The U.S. flag is no longer flown there, and the pride flag is. I'm opposed to that. The pride flag should complement, not replace the U.S. flag there or anywhere, and especially at the entrance to, of all things, War Memorial Park. For years, the pride flag flew in front of the Borough Hall. It's been smaller then, flown lower then. It was subordinate to the U.S. flag, as it should be. But it still proudly signaled our commitment to equality for which Old Glory stands. I also want to address something else. The council passed a resolution. Donna, you were part of it. You voted for it. The council passed a resolution allowing the pride flag to be flown. It was done at an open meeting. People spoke in person and on Zoom and expressed their opinion, and there was a public vote. The mayor wasn't happy with that. In the borough form of government, Mayor, you can't override the council. You had a committee. Even if the committee was composed of Chris Christie, Justice Alito, RuPaul, and the Pope, they can't override. You can't override. I don't think others were cut off. You can't override the action of the council. And you're admitting that when you're introducing an ordinance tonight that will be passed by the council that will govern the flags. You are the mayor in a borough form of government. You were elected neither king nor ayatollah. You have limited powers. You can run the meetings, you can appoint with consent of the council, and various other things. But everything that is not specifically enumerated in the law, in Title 40, I think it's Section 60, right, Counselor? Is up to the council, not to the mayor. And the business administrator, and by the way, what Title 40 says is it's the mayor's job to enforce the resolutions of the council. So it's your job to tell the administrator if the council passed that resolution until they change it, that's what you have to do. Because that's the law, Mayor. The council makes policy. And the council made a policy. Council President Roberts voted for it. And if you want to change that policy, you can't do it unilaterally. This is the United States of America, the state of New Jersey, where we have laws. And Title 40, I know you, well, I won't get into the conference, but Title 40 indicates what you can and can't do. And you can't do a lot of the things that you're doing. And that's one of them. So if you want to change it, the council has to pass a resolution. And you know, what's so interesting today, what's today, the 18th, 19th, Pride ends on the 30th. You had to introduce this ordinance now? You know, there are 10 more days. Is that, it's just to stick it in the eye of people? Is that what you're trying to do? The mayor's supposed to unify people, not cause division and divisiveness. The mayor's supposed to bring people together.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Yes. Mary?
Mary Novak, One Scarlet Drive. Believe it or not, I was requested to read a letter from former Councilman Michelle, and I somehow lost it. You know what technophobe I am. I was actually had it there and somehow it disappeared. She really wanted, as educator more than a council person, how important it was to her as a teacher. She's seen so many children, you know, have problems, maybe hurt themselves, you know, because they feel unliked, embarrassed for whatever. And I was very much against this pride flag in the beginning. I know I'm a life member of the VFW or Ladies Auxiliary. I know that this building, this town is dedicated to the veterans. That's why our welcome to Sayreville is the American flag. We could have chosen a lot of other things, but that's what we chose because we're so aligned with the veterans. But after hearing from teachers, Michelle, our former mayor, Vicky, and other teachers that come up to the podium, I did vote for this. And I realize that you have a perfect right to, you're a new council. That's what I've always said. Elections have consequences, and you remember what I was saying about that other ordinance. You're not going to be sitting up here forever, so somebody else can change this very easily. So I'm just saying where it was put was really such a smack in the face. It almost looks like it's in a dumpster. And I know that used to be a American flag there and everything. Please show just a little bit more respect. Find a better place for this. You don't want it on the front of Borough Hall. Believe me, I understand that. I didn't like the fact that American flags used to hang there and they were removed just to put up this flag for June. And that was not my intention. That was, to me, a little disrespectful. I knew that it should have some place of prominence, and you all have decided that that's what you want to do. But and I really think that that is a little disrespectful. I mean, it looks like you threw them out in the garbage, you know, and the kids are the ones that I'm concerned about, not the adults. They've all lived their lives. They're stronger, but it's for the kids. And also, that ordinance, we're not going to be able to fly a borough flag. We just spent a lot of money redesigning our flag with the new symbol on it, and we're not going to be able to fly it out in front of our own borough hall.
We don't have a borough flag.
Yeah, there's one right there, but that's the old one.
Oh, I mean, we don't use it. It's not in parades. It's here on the dais.
It was hung on the front of Borough Hall on one of the doors.
Mary, I'm working with what we got. It's an imperfect world, and this is part of it. The flag in the corner going into Veterans Park was the flagpole that we had. So through lack of options, that's where it went.
We've got a year to come up with something better, and I really would like the council to think on it. And again, please.
Mary, I got 600 streets, I got water and sewer, I got a lot of things on the
Mayor, I
plate.
know.
This is one of the many things on the plate.
I know, but
So if
again,
people are taking offense, there was no offense given in this action. It was respect.
Mayor, again, I'm
for what should have
not
been and
concerned
what
about
should
the
not have
adults. I'm
happened 4
concerned
years
about the
ago.
children. I really am.
The problem was 4 years ago, you didn't consult with the Veterans Alliance. You just did it arbitrarily.
Well, no, we didn't do it arbitrarily. We must have had about 4 or 5 meetings on this, Kennedy. We had open public
Not
meetings.
what I'm hearing,
My
Mary.
opinion was changed because of people that spoke in the audience.
Okay.
Okay?
Anything else, Mary?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Stanley?
Mayor, I didn't want to speak again, but I want to clarify because this thing's going into a circle again.
Yeah.
The Veterans Alliance wrote a letter. We spoke to several council members. A lot of us did. Personally, we sent letters. We brought it up at a couple of meetings. We got buffaloed around. Nobody ever wanted to give us a straight answer. The first time we knew, the American flag came down, and a lot of us said, what happened? And then the same council people would do this when they saw us. And that's the background to it. We wrote 2 letters to the borough. We handed it to people, copies, some of them aren't here now. So I'm going to clarify, we talked to you, and we always said, we didn't, we thought the New Jersey flag would go up, just like most places have. As long as it's one of the government flags, we have no problem with it, the veterans. Borough, New Jersey flag, I never saw the borough flag up here before. So I don't know. So we're not against that. And again, we want to clarify, the whole point of this is we do not want this to start putting flags up here, because I hear things about bigotry, hate, everything. How about a Palestinian flag's going to come up here one day? Is that going to be nice? How about kill the Jew flag? I mean, Rutgers University, I've seen them.
And that's the problem.
And that
Stanley.
was our whole point as veterans. We served with all kinds of people, all of us. Some of us saw, we're used to an organization where a man's hurt or wounded, nobody cares. Nothing on your flag says what is my sexual orientation, my race, my anything. We never cared. And that's how countries fall if we start splitting up. You can put any flag you want. Cedarville has no regulation. You can put any flag in your yard. If somebody wants to go walk around with a flag of anything in the Borough Park, I don't think anybody would stop you. Nobody cares. What we want to do is, we do not want this to turn into a government, not subsidizing, but recognizing only a specific group or organization. That's our
not fair,
point.
Stanley.
That's the only thing we're saying. We're not against any flag. It's do not fly it in front of the town hall. Because what flag will you deny? I brought one here. Oh, I was going to present it, but I decided not to. This is the U.S. Army flag. On this Saturday, the U.S. Army started its 1-year program for its 250th anniversary. Unfortunately, guess when that's going to be in June of 2025. How about flying this one for a month? No. No, my point is, we do not want that.
Why?
No, we do not want that specifically done for a reason. Because we do not want to get into this circus that is going to occur. I've done a lot of research. I talked to Ken, we talked about it 2 years ago, I believe, the councilwoman. A lot of towns have gotten into circuses over this. No. The whole point tonight was fly your flag.
We can't.
No, not here you can't.
Not anymore.
Well, no, you can't fly here. That's what I'm saying.
It has for 4 years.
Well, what I'm saying is, from our viewpoint, the same thing happened to us. That flag went up and without our knowledge, our letter was ignored.
The flag didn't come down when ours went up.
Wait a minute, fellas,
No.
Stanley.
Again, my point is, I don't like the way this went tonight.
Right.
Because all we said was US flag, New Jersey flag, borough flag, MIA flag. That's all we're saying. You want to walk around with any flag, we don't care. So I want to get back
voices
to,
are heard.
we're not playing this game about turning the veterans against anybody. No, he's not. He's not.
He made a comment or turn around and confront you about the flag.
Yes.
There we go. Thanks. Mr. Mayor, I've come to tell you that you should be in the flag business, including that flag. As a local official, you should be facilitating partnerships with different demographics of residents,
And
not
before you
lamenting.
continue, I need your name, please.
Oh, Kylie Denny. As a local official, you should be facilitating partnerships with different demographics of residents, not lamenting the personal inconvenience of recognizing those groups. And that includes, but is certainly not limited to, the LGBT community. The question that needs to be answered about Ordinance 3124 is why now? That needs to be answered. Why now? The pride flag has been displayed, I believe, 4 years now outside of Borough Hall. What about this June? This Pride Month is different. Why, after 4 years, was it necessary to relegate it to the back of a parking lot? Why now after 4 years? I've lived in this area my whole life. I've dealt with homophobic bullying. And when I drive by somewhere like Borough Hall, seeing a pride flag makes me feel safer. If I can't see that flag from the road, how would I know it's there? How could I see it after you've hidden it amongst the trees? I know that this is a Republican-controlled council, so I'd like to make a few relevant notes. The first transgender elected official in this state, Jennifer Williams, is a Republican. Guess who I saw in the Pride Parade in Asbury Park the other day? Republican Assemblyman Don Guardian in the parade, who's a gay man. I myself helped run the Republican congressional campaign in the neighboring district when my friend Steve Usio was running, and guess what? He came to Pride with me. You're talking about the importance of recognizing our nation's service members, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. We owe all of our nation to them. As other speakers have said, what you fail to publicly recognize is that pride flag does represent the countless hundreds of thousands of LGBT service members who have fought and are still fighting for our nation. And I invite you and any members of this council after the meeting to sit with me, and we can call up some of those vets and active service members who happen to be LGBT, who I've been fortunate to know, and it's late now, but if they are awake and they pick up the phone, they'll tell you that they deserve recognition, that they deserve to not feel relegated. But it goes beyond that, right? Because I would have to imagine that even my late grandfather, who was a proud World War II veteran, is turning over in his grave right now, knowing that after seeing one of his sons, who happens to be gay, have to come of age during the AIDS crisis, that parts of our American society and parts of our state are trying to inch us backwards. Let's be real here. This ordinance was written and introduced specifically to target the pride flag, to target visibility of the LGBT community. There could not have been any other catalyst. You're not fooling anybody with that. And I don't know why you'd waste your time. I know why I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my time because I want visibility that makes me and people like me feel safer. Bad faith folks are targeting people like me right now, but I don't know why this is where you decide to put your energy, unless you're one of those bad faith folks too. Yet, in spite of that, I'll still say thank you all for your time.
Are there any other comments?
Again, Evelyn Smith, 124 Kendall Drive. First and foremost, I would like to address the problem that is currently existing outside of this building. When my son left, they went past the front of the building. There is no light on the flag in the middle of the building. Okay, so someone needs to go and either put a light in it or take that flag down because it is now illegally being flown. Okay, it must be lit after dark. And here's your proof, because they just took this as they were driving away. Okay? The other thing is the KIA flag, though I respect those who have died for our country, again, it does not belong up there. That needs to be taken down immediately. It's not on the list of approved flags in the United States. And it's really, I'm sorry, but it looks chintzy. It's like some little kid decided to take a piece of cloth and a marker and make up this thing. Get a nice one, okay? I mean, it can't cost that much. Now, the other problem I see is the pride flag that was being flown is larger than the American flags that are out there, which means that it is illegal. But not on the fact that it's a pride flag, but on the fact of its size, okay? It has to be smaller and lower than the American flag, okay? I don't know why, I remember the POW flag being flown underneath the American flag in the center. I don't know why it has been moved over to the other one, but we need to restore the state flag. We need to, if we have one of those, or, well, that's going to be too big too, because that's bigger than the American flag that's out there. If we have a copy, a new one, put the town flag up there. But we really should respect and salute our LGBTQ veterans, okay? You said that the front is supposed to be taken care of for our veterans. Well, there's a whole lot of veterans who are gay, okay? And they deserve the same respect that any of the other veterans do, okay? I mean, I'd be willing to bet probably half of the men here served with a gay man.
US flag on their uniform and a US Army.
Right, because at the time they would have been,
just like all of us.
because at the time they would have been shot. They would have been shot for being gay. They were not allowed to be gay.
Evelyn.
They were
Evelyn,
not allowed to be
Evelyn, Evelyn,
Anyway.
address the council, please.
Okay, but anyway, like I said, perhaps if there was a smaller version of the flag or another flag that was a pride flag but said, veterans on it or something, it would be more appropriate for what you are trying to project at the front of the building, which is for our veterans, okay, our dead and our serving and everything, okay? But to say that it doesn't belong there at all is not true. Like I said, I mean, Mr. Sposato just said that he had two uncles who were gay, who served in the armed forces. Okay, so by putting up a flag that recognizes gay service people is in addition to all the other things that you're, respecting with the monuments and the flags and everything. So I would suggest you consider that. Maybe you can come to a compromise with getting a different, yes, I know, a slightly different flag, but still keep the pride part of it. And again, get somebody out there to either put a light on this flag or get it down, because that's the law. Thank you.
My name's Mitch, that's all I'm gonna say. As far as looking at the memorial from outside, I see the American flag, POW flag, the KIA flag, and the memorial. Great. I don't remember ever seeing the pride flag there. I remember seeing the pride flag on the door, which when I'm looking at it is not part of the memorial. I could be wrong, but when I look at it, being on the door is not part of the memorial. And you, Mr. Mayor, you said something very specific. You said there's 64 other flags that can be flown. And
Hold on, young fella. This is from Wikipedia.
No, no.
64 special day
Okay,
flags.
60.
Wait a minute, 20 special week flags and 50 special month flags.
Okay.
And that's just,
Can I
that's
ask
just
you a
one
question?
grouping.
Did that change from time it was on the building to time it was put in the back?
Well, from what you've just heard tonight from our veterans, they were never consulted.
No, no,
for-
that one has nothing to do with the other, Mr.
Oh, no, it
Mayor.
has
Please
everything.
just answer the question.
What's it-
Was the number of potential flags flown different when it was in front as opposed to being in the back of the building? Was it always 64?
I would assume so.
Okay, so the number of flags hasn't changed. Out of those 64, how many of them asked to be flown?
I'm going to correct you. The error that is being made tonight is that it's being interpreted as an anti-LGBTQ.
No, no, I'm not
movement.
asking that. One,
This is the error that's being made.
I'm
that
not saying it's
somehow
the anti, but
it's
you made a point
anti-
that you're not in the flag business. That was your quote. You're not in the flag business. No,
go ahead and
please
finish
don't
it.
dismiss me. I'm
Go ahead.
using your exact words. You said you're not in the flag business.
shouldn't be.
How many other organizations out of those 64 asked to have their flag flown?
I don't know. Might
Can
not have been
anyone on the
any.
council answer that question?
Because they haven't, doesn't mean they will.
Okay. And
And the
so
problem
they've
is,
had 4
when they-
years of seeing the.
You know what? All you're going to do is talk, so please make your statement.
Wait,
and
are you
sit down.
dismissing me, Mr.
I
Mayor?
am, I am.
What? So you're dismissing me. Everyone else had their say. I got 3
I'm
minutes
not
left of
gonna,
my
I'm
time.
not going to engage
Please.
you.
I
So
will-
please go talk,
No,
talk for
you
3
can
minutes.
read your paper, do whatever you want, dismiss me
Yeah,
however you want.
yeah.
You're inconsiderate
And,
at this
and
point.
there's one caveat. I'm not dismissing you
Yes, you're
because you're
dismissing
gay.
me. I am.
Really annoying.
I'm annoying. Okay, please, I am glad that they got this on the record. Why am I annoying, Mr. Mayor? Because I'm questioning you? Is that
I've
why
been-
I'm annoying?
I've
I
been
am
down this road
questioning-
with people
I am
like you
asking
for a
you
lot of times.
Perfectly sensible questions and you find me annoying?
Yes.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. I hope everyone can see this. This is the man that you are following. Thank you. Thank you. Well, yeah, you're one of the few. But, so a flag that has not bothered anyone for 4 years. Are you the only, excuse me, can I address him for a second, or do I have to address you? Where were you 2 years ago today? You were not here speaking in front of the council. Yeah, just blah, blah, blah. You were not here speaking in front of the council when the council voted. Only 2 people spoke up against the flag, Donna and Karen. No one else spoke up against the flag. You brought the veterans here to parade, to put on a show. Very good. We're all proud. We all see what you did. So thank you very much. Give yourselves you guys were just used as puppets tonight, which is completely wrong, which is completely wrong.
Hey.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. This has nothing to do against the veterans.
Oh, let him, he's got a minute left. Let him go.
This has nothing to do against the veterans. If this has to do with a flag and where a flag is being flown. You cannot tell me that the front of the building, on the side of the entrance doors, has anything to do with the memorial. The memorial is at the very beginning. It's a semicircle and it stops. You could see the wall where it stops. Where the flag was, there was nothing wrong with it. You made this about the pride flag, and you are the one that pitted the veterans against the pride community. And for that, you are very wrong. And I hope that the rest of the board sees this, that this has nothing to do, it's a pony show. That's all it is. He is against the pride community for some reason. Don't know why. Maybe hidden in the closet. I don't know. I don't know you personally. Could be. And yeah, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year. Thank you.
Eddie,
Want to shake my hand? Thank you. And thank you.
get you, I'll get you.
No, but we were not police that came here. We came
You gonna stop him from talking, Mayor?
What's that, Ed?
You gonna stop him from talking? He's been talking for,
Done.
like I said in the beginning, pride flag flying where it is now is actually on memorial property.
No.
And there were 60 trees planted on that property for 60 veterans that were killed in action. Now, for this individual to get up here and say, we don't care about that, we do care about it. How about the World War I and World War II monument? That's over 1,000, I quoted before, 250 residents of Sayreville that served, 60 of which never came home. Never came home. And their flag is being flown on the memorial property. There are 60 trees that were planted right alongside that flag, running all the way down that path. And these veterans that are on the World War I and World War II monument, they should be recognized. They serve their country. And for some individuals to come up here and say that doesn't mean anything, I think it's sad. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Eddie. Young lady?
Hi, good evening. My name is Katie Basaha. I've lived in Sayreville my whole life. I'm going on 33 years old. And I'm going to lower this because you were a little taller than me. So I'm really just here to encourage compassion over understanding. And I am welcoming the whole council and or the veteran community that is here to have a co-hosted event to learn to understand each other and have compassion for each other and what things mean for them. So if you'd like to, I welcome you to contact me, speak with me after, because I'm hearing a lot of murmuring, a lot of anger, and it just seems like we're not understanding each other. So I'd like you all to have some compassion and join me in trying to organize a LGBT plus veteran event, maybe at one of the halls that you have, where we can learn to understand each other and the position in which somebody that feels represented by the pride flag more closely or as closely as they do the American flag. So that's my invitation to the council and my invitation to the veteran community here. So thank you. I yield my time and I appreciate the opportunity to speak. So thanks.
Are there any other comments? Being no other comments, I'll take a motion to close the public portion.
Make a motion to close the public.
Second. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Take a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.